as I was saying, let's introduce ourselves if you guys want to. Do you guys want to introduce yourself? I'm pretty sure I said no the last time
They
Aso
know.
asked me.
Everyone knows who we are.
You did.
I did.
But
It was like halfway. I was just like,
I'll do it, Maple.
but I'm
okay.
good with introducing
Pending, you want to
ourselves.
introduce all of us?
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll introduce
Yeah, do it
everyone.
for us.
Please.
Give us like titles. Give us like
You
unique
have
Okay.
to impersonate us
We
too.
believe in you.
Okay, I'll impersonate everyone, Maple.
Okay. All right.
Alright, here we go. Hey, I'm Justice. Asu here, reporting in for duty. I am the VTuber who says justice a lot, and I
Never
am
sleeps.
like super. I never sleep. I'm super buff, but I'm also 3'4".
At least 3 feet 4.5. 3 feet 4.5 at least.
For the raid.
3'4.5".
Why you gonna
All right.
You made it!
Why you
Hey,
roasting
you-
yourself,
Wow.
Asu?
Mm-mm.
We just started too.
And okay, here. Hey, I'm Kyrie. I like cookies a lot, and I play Dead by Daylight and League of Legends, and I like Stardew Valley, and I'm super nice. Yay!
Say I'm cute.
Yeah,
Say I'm
thank
cute.
you.
Pending. Say I'm cute.
I'm cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
Alright, going down the line.
Kyrie, how? Why'd you say?
Hey.
You'd never say that.
Okay. Hello, I'm Momiji. No, wait.
No wait.
I already messed it up. I was gonna do Moe next.
You got your M's mixed up.
Yeah.
I did it in time.
Hey,
Yeah,
Yui.
sure. Yeah.
Hey, Yui, Maple.
Yeah, you made it, Yui.
12 minutes
I
late,
mean,
but
12 minutes.
That's
That's fine. It's fine.
So
You made it.
we're allowing Pending to introduce
okay, you-
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going through the list introducing
just in time,
everyone.
actually.
Yeah, Yui. Pending's introducing us right now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm going.
Yeah.
I brought a party to you guys. So
Yes.
Mm.
yeah, okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Hey, go, Penny.
Alright. Hello, I'm Moe. I like trains, and I do Photoshop, and I play games, and Eric is my husbando. Yes? Right? It's Eric, right?
Yep.
Sure. Yes. It is.
Wait, really?
What do you mean right? Of course it's right. You're the one saying it. Moe.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's. I don't
I feel
hear
like
and
you're just listing our talents here instead of saying like how we would say hi.
Oh, wait, should I?
doesn't Moe
That's
start
spitting
with
image.
what's up?
It's cute.
What's
it's
up?
cute.
What? Hey, I'm Moe. What's up, effers?
I'll kind of you to censor yourself.
Yeah.
Moe, so
Alright.
nice of you to censor yourself for Momiji's
Yeah, you
Momiji's
censor
stream.
yourself.
Yeah.
Wow, so
Alright,
nice.
next up is Momiji. Hello, I'm Momiji. Hello, I'm Momiji. I'm a demon lord who eats princesses. Please enjoy my festival time where we talk about some of my past victims.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Damn, Momiji, I didn't know you were so hardcore. Eating princesses.
I was the one
Next-
me, but then.
Wait, what?
Next,
What?
sorry.
Excuse me, what?
Excuse
me,
me.
What?
What?
Can we get a rewind on that?
Yeah, what?
I don't know what you're saying. What?
Anyone clip
I'm
that?
gonna try. I'm gonna
So
try.
watch it again for proof.
I'm gonna try Yui next. Hey, it's Yui. I'm a virtual weeb who likes playing games and I like Sekiro and Dark Souls and not Ground Coon.
Oh, that's a classic.
And bananas and chocolate.
Wait,
And
Bananas and
Hey, I am not a banana. I am not a banana.
You hate
If
strawberries,
anything,
right?
I should be a strawberry.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you.
No,
Thank you.
wait,
Yes.
wait.
That's
What
not
are you
fair.
talking about?
What
That's
are you
bad.
talking about?
Thank you. Thank you.
You were-
You. That's fine.
you were
Thank you.
saying-
Thank you,
Yui,
Yui.
why are
talking to
you
yourself?
Why are you talking to yourself? Why are you thanking yourself, Yui? Don't thank yourself.
Alright, I'll do Asu next.
You already
Hey,
did.
You did
Hey,
it.
Sue.
Just
Oh,
doing them
that's
You're
again.
missing,
Trell and
you're
a
missing
Trell.
Tay and Trell.
It's because I'm looking. How I'm doing this is I'm going down the collab VC, and I see Trell's name is Shadow Asu, so that's why I said Asu.
It's still
Alright, I'll do-
unchanged.
Alright,
It's said that way.
hey, fam, it's Trell.
Oh my god, it's me.
Why are you
Darn right it's you.
interrupting yourself?
That's it.
Interrupting
That's
yourself.
it. That's all.
Oh, shit, what?
Was that just
It
me
be-
talking?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, it'd be like that. It'd be like that, fam.
Oh my god, it really do be like that.
Yeah.
Wait, Trell, what do you usually clap? What do you usually clap?
I usually clap cookies before I eat them.
Excuse me.
I find it really brings out the flavor.
You're butchering my.
As Trell, there's nothing I like more than a good Oreo, you know? Yeah. This Oreo really do be nice, fam.
Oh my god.
Very nicely done. Very nicely done.
Oh, fuck it, yo. Good job, Trell. You did amazing. I can't believe it. That was pretty, you know.
Alright,
Them
I'll
cookies.
do Zerb next. Okay, Zerb's left. Hello, I'm a virtual sushi chef who hates ghost trains. And
It's not even a bio.
I
Random Japanese.
Yoshimate.
Oh my god, Zerb, is that you?
Damn, Zerb. We gotta
Hold
wait.
on a minute.
We gotta wait for you now, Zerb. What the hell?
Yeah.
Not enough.
I'm super
content.
I'm super smart about like models and Unity and like VR, and I'm a pretty nice guy on the whole. But if there's one thing that really riles me up, that really like gets my blood boiling, it's ghost trains. Just can't stand them. If I see a small child trying to put a ghost train on the car all merrily, I'll slap that right out of his hand, and then I'll laugh at him as he cries.
Oh, Zerb.
I'd say that's stinky.
Zerb, why you such a
Zerb.
Damn, Zerb.
Yeah, check out.
Why you so
It's
mad?
good. No, Zerb. I
Also-
like that you're
also-
admitting your
also-
Steal
fault.
from the poor too.
Also, I'm a little bit. Also,
Yeah, Zerb.
and this is hard for me to admit as Zerb.
Yeah, Zerb.
I sometimes worry about how I'll never be the perfect daughter. But if you could maybe help
The
me out
perfect bride, the
by
perfect
doing the
bride.
hashtag ZR perfect daughter,
No, perfect
that
right.
would really lift my spirits.
Perfect bride, perfect bride.
Zerb, you forgot. It's perfect bride.
Perfect bride.
Perfect bride.
Perfect
Yeah.
bride.
No, I didn't forget. I want to
Perfect bride.
forget.
Oh,
This should have died. This should have died yesterday.
ZR perfect
oh.
bride.
It
My
almost
mistake.
died.
My mistake.
Yeah, what to say, Ore?
It's
But
perfect.
Zerb,
Absolutely.
I love that you admit your flaws now, Zerb.
You
How
know,
much
that's
you
commendable.
how
That's
much
quite
you hate
admirable.
children
That's
with
so
ghost
admirable.
trains, you know? I
You
commend
guys wonder
you.
I'm a
Children
traitor.
and ghosts.
Wait, wonder why I'm a traitor.
You guys wonder why I'm a traitor.
Zerb, stop outing yourself. It's already looking pretty bad.
Yeah,
Are you gonna
yeah.
make yourself look worse?
Yeah, Zerb, look.
This was the best fairy tale of them all.
Zerb is the best. So let's nitpick Zerb's life now.
Well, I'll introduce myself last.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
go on, Ben.
Hello, I'm Pending Maple, and I am a person, Maple, who does stuff, and that's my life, Maple.
I like that Pending introducing himself is actually like harder than him introducing all of us.
Right?
Mm.
That tends to be how it is,
Does
though.
does anyone else want to introduce me, Maple? Given that I did everyone else, Maple.
I can try. All right. Yeah. Hey, subtitles. I'm Pending. I like cookies, and then I make YouTube videos and a lot of skits and subtitles. You're great,
Maple.
Maple.
Subtitles is great, Maple.
It's like, oh, that's not
And
petty.
I,
Yeah,
and
didn't
I
say
like
maple.
to follow people around as I kill them, asking them to be my friends.
And then I give lores to people.
And if they don't agree to be my friend, I get really angry.
Really?
And I hang them on a hook and
Oh,
ask
I
them why they
remember that.
why they won't
Oh
hang
my
around
God.
with me.
Yeah,
Oh god.
Maple.
So we
And
all
it-
agree Pending is a psychopath?
Yeah.
Nah, what do you mean?
And I like to make lores on people, like how a 5'7" superhero is now a 3'4" man, and how
Excuse me. Yeah, you're 3'4". That's what the lore. It's the lore now.
And how random demon lords eat princesses.
I was always in the lore. What do you mean?
Okay, anyway.
Well, it's canon that you clap cookies now, so I
Yeah,
guess
now
it's
it's
fine.
canon that I clap cookies
No.
now. All right, bring the flavor out, tenderize them.
Exactly, Maple.
And
I
Zerp
got
is
the
the perfect
nicest
bride.
one out of all of
Yeah,
them.
you
No,
did.
it's not Laura.
And Zerp is the perfect bride, best lore ever. Canon.
Best
It's not
lore
Laura.
ever.
It's
Perfect
not
bride.
Laura.
New lore confirmed.
Deep lore.
Deep lore. It's never going away.
Deep
That's
lore.
Zerp's robotic programming to be the perfect bride.
To be the perfect.
Something went really wrong in the process.
No, nothing went wrong in the process.
If
Perfect.
that is anything, it's perfection.
It's
Right?
perfection.
I mean, like, you have
The way it
abs
should be.
following you around. There's
Abs
nothing-
good.
Ooh,
No, I know, I
abs
know. Wait,
good.
how do you know that?
Abs cool.
You told us yesterday. You told us yesterday.
Guys. Oh, I did? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
forget about that.
Oh my
Forget
God.
about that. No, it's
Abs
nothing,
good?
guys.
Yeah.
Abs
Wow.
Chan. Actually,
Really,
it's
you don't
Abs
have to
Chan.
Abs is Chan.
No,
Abs Chan.
Uh,
Abs
And
Chan?
it's this like super bishonen with like buff
Lots of
body
abs.
on VR chat. Yeah,
Without nipples.
lots of abs.
Oh,
I've seen him. I've seen him around.
I know. I thought Abs Chum was you, Esther, because you're the one with the buff body, and you've been,
No,
very close
no,
together,
see-
you know.
See, I'm a Kyodai. I'm a Kyodai.
So,
Kyodai.
Yeah.
let's get this back on track. We spent 15 minutes
Okay,
introducing
yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Deep lore.
It all worked
Arigato.
out. It's all
That was
good.
our backstories.
It's our backstories.
That's our fairy tale. That's our
Our
fairy
fairy
tale.
tales,
fairy tale.
our origins.
It's our
My
origin.
fairy tale's Mulan,
It-
basically.
But Mulan's a
And you're
myth,
getting a movie,
a
too.
legend. Mulan's a legend.
Yeah, sir. Congratulations on your movie, Maple.
God damn.
Oh, thank you.
Aw. So
I haven't even
sweet.
watched it.
Okay, guys. Let's start with our first story of the day. I think I said Cinderella. Yes, we did say Cinderella.
Yeah.
So I haven't decided which one we're gonna use. Like the original Cinderella story, where like instead of a fairy godmother, it's a tree, or and also whether or not her sisters chop off their toes and heels. Which ones do you
Oh
want?
yeah,
What?
I know.
Oh,
I
that
know.
was
Yeah.
great.
Okay,
Like
I didn't know
the
about the.
original, like fairy tale.
I didn't know
I
about
didn't know
the.
that.
I didn't know about the
I like
tree,
we're
but I
going
knew
for
about the chop off the toes
Yeah,
one.
chop off toes.
Okay,
Just
so
to
we're
fit
gonna
in.
well, I'll just quickly like run through the fairy tale. I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this. So Cinderella, obviously, her mom died when she was a child. She actually planted a tree on top of the grave where her mom is, and watered it with her tears every day because obviously.
Why? Well, why not? Yeah.
Why not, right?
She has-
Oh,
She has
sorry,
no
sorry,
access
sorry.
to real
Before I
water.
start nitpicking, sorry, I apologize. So watered it with her tears every day until it grew into a tree. Her dad, married her stepmom with the two stepsisters who,
Sorry, Corona.
who pick on her every day. And I actually don't know if the dad is dead or not, but like he's basically an absentee
In the-
father.
Where's the
in the
fucking
original,
dad?
in the original one, he's actually still alive.
Yeah, so
Oh,
he's an
he's
absentee
dead.
father.
He just
Um,
doesn't care.
He's gone. He just fucked off.
Yeah, he goes away.
He
And
goes away. because he
the
travels
Cinderella.
apparently.
For
It,
some
it, it wasn't more he
He's
goes
got-
away, but more like he was queen controlled by the new wife.
Uh,
That's what I
okay.
remember.
Oh, really? So he's
Oh.
like magically controlled by the new wife, or like
No,
just
no, 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 no. I meant like
bedroomly
I meant
controlled by the new wife. Um,
bedroomly controlled. Yeah,
bedroomly
bedroomly controlled.
controlled by the new wife, that
Bedroomly
he
controlled,
ignores his
got
own
it.
daughter, and the stepmother starts picking on her along with her two sisters, her stepsisters, I mean. And then one day the prince obviously decides to invite all the maidens into the land to his ball, which lasts for 3 days actually.
Yes.
Which lasts for 3 days, and he is supposed to pick a bride from them. Cinderella is not able to go, so she cries on in her mom's grave, not in her mom's, like in front of her mom's grave, like, why can't I go, that sort of thing. But
Hmm.
and then her mom's spirit, or the tree spirit, decides to help her out and changes her dress into a golden dress and her slippers into, actually it was originally a golden slippers, but now it's apparently
Gold.
glass slippers. So glass
Glass.
slippers,
Glass, yeah.
and take her away to the ball, and then she can join the ball. But however, the spirit says that the magic disappears at 12
Oh, yeah.
midnight. So yes, first night she dances with the prince happily, and then she has to go back. The prince falls in love with her. Was it the first night or the third night? I can't remember. So anyways, but yeah, she dances with the prince 3 nights in a row. The prince, I can't remember what he did, but I think well, in the what's it called, the movie, Into the Woods, he puts tar on the ground so
Yeah.
she loses her shoe. But I
yeah.
don't think that's the original. It's just so
Uh,
literal.
No,
Basically,
no, no. That wasn't the original. That they added that in that movie.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. So
yeah.
she loses her shoe at the last night.
Yeah.
Um, and the prince picks it up, and then he travels around the land, asking, like having girls fit into the
Yeah.
shoe. If
Yeah.
they
Fit in
fit,
the
that
shoe for me.
she's the girl.
Okay.
Her stepmother locks her in. Like the rest is, like basically
The same.
follows the same storyline, except
Yeah.
that at
Yeah.
first they put the shoe on her big sister, and
Yep.
her toe didn't fit in, so her mom suggested that she cut off her toe, saying that, oh, you won't need to walk anyways when you become a queen. Um, so she chops off her toe, and like, if the shoe fits, and then the prince is like, woot, and then as they were getting back to the castle, the birds that lurk on her mother's tree whispers into the prince's ear, saying, look at her toes, it's bleeding. And then
You
Yep.
think that
look
would
at her
have been
feet, it's bleeding.
obvious?
And then she realizes that she chopped up her feet to in order
Oh
to
my! I did not see that.
yeah in
Yep.
order to there's a lot of things to nitpick, anyways.
Yeah.
To fit into the shoe, and so he brings her back, and then now he tries it on the second sister, and her second sister, the heel didn't fit in, the heel was too long, and then her mom says, chop off the heel, because when you chop it off, it can fit in, and you don't need you
To
don't need
walk
to
anymore.
walk anymore.
You don't need a
You don't
balance.
need
Yeah,
to
you
walk.
don't need to balance when you
Yeah.
become a queen. And she's like, okay, yeah, sure. So she chops it off, and then she fits into the shoe. And then again, on the way back to the castle, the birds tell the prince that, oh, look, it's bleeding because her
Oh
heel's
shit!
chopped
It's
off.
bleeding.
And he's like, oh
What?
no,
Again?
again, yeah, I know, again.
This
What?
damn family has like bleeding feet,
Fucking
people.
I know, right? Beating feet syndrome. And so he brings her back, and then finally, Cinderella escapes from wherever her mom's, capturing her,
Fucking
and
dungeon.
puts on the shoe, and it fits,
It
and he's
fit.
like, yay, and then they go back, and then
Hey, wait. Let me check. Let me check to make sure it's not bleeding.
let me check to make sure.
All
Yeah.
right. I think
And
we're
then they
good.
go back, and then like on the day of the wedding, the three, the stepmother and the two sisters, try to
Executed. No, I'm just kidding.
get Cinderella to bring them in to live in the castle, like, threaten her and stuff like that. Oh, because like,
Yeah.
we
Yep.
took care
Yep.
of you for so long, whatever. And then her mom sent like birds to peck out their eyes,
Yep.
and that
Pretty
was
much.
the end.
Yep.
Damn.
That was the original one. Like, if you're bad, you're gonna
Are we
die
gonna use that
horribly.
one? I like this one.
So yes.
This
All
one's
right.
hardcore.
Let the nitpicking begin.
So
So-
what I remember from the three nights
the
dance,
three?
yeah, the ballroom was a 3 night thing, right?
3 nights.
Yeah. 3 nights of
Basically,
dancing.
basically that was basically the first magical girl, because
What?
yeah, because Cinderella only turns into a princess at night,
Okay.
and then once
Yeah.
midnight she turns back into the normal Cinderella.
Yeah, she's just
So for the
normal.
whole 3 nights, that's what happens. That's what I remember. So she was basically the first magical girl.
Can I ask you a question,
Yeah.
Maple?
Oh yeah, huh? That
So,
would make sense.
okay, so the idea
Is she
is,
now?
she
Mira,
Oh,
turns
Mira.
Thank you
into.
for the raid.
Mira with the raid.
Thank you for the raid.
Thanks for the
So the idea is she turns into a princess at night, Maple,
Yes.
Yep.
and then during the day she is a regular girl, Maple.
Yep. Pretty much.
But given that princess is a title and not a state of being, what exactly what is
she a
exactly is
princess of?
involved?
They don't
actually-
classify her as a princess in the story at all until she marries the prince. She's just another girl dressed up to try and woo the
Some
prince.
chick.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
She's just like a very pretty
She's
girl.
cute.
Yeah, some
Yeah.
pretty
While
girl.
everybody's wooing the prince, she's there for the food bar.
She's here for the food bar.
That's all she's coming there for.
She actually went for the food, but then the prince saw her and was like, "Wow, I want to
Well-
dance with her."
Is that how-
Well,
I'm hungry
well,
as fuck.
well,
I need
first off,
food.
first off,
Oh,
first
is
off.
it way?
I got a critical follow up then.
Mm.
Oh.
Was it good food, Maple?
Yes.
Nah.
Yes, it was.
They had
Definitely.
day
You
3.
know, the best the
I would
kingdom
assume
had
it
to
was
offer at the
pretty good
time.
No,
food.
it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't made of maple, but it was pretty good.
Because if it was good food, then she's in the right, Maple.
Exactly. No, she's totally in the right.
She's
Right.
got the right too. She did the right thing.
But actually, the,
And
the
then-
real story, the real story,
And then the prince saw her like there for the food,
picking
and
out,
he's
picking
like,
out on the food.
this is someone who knows what they want. This is someone who's smart.
Eating.
Like
Yeah, this is not
someone
one of
to
those
talk to.
vapid
Gorging
Rates
girls.
the food bar,
Yeah.
yeah, just gorging,
Yeah.
gorging herself on the food.
No,
I mean,
the
she's
prince
got
sees
a
that as
priority straight. She doesn't want to marry me. She
Yeah.
just wants the food.
exactly because
It's like,
the prince is gonna be like, "This is not one of these vapid girls who wants to dance with me. She's here for something else. I like her already."
She's gonna be thick when she's done eating all that.
Ooh, so
So at least-
nice, huh?
So at least the prince has a valid, reason, not just a shallow reason.
Yeah, she's not like the
she's
other
so
girls.
pretty.
She's not like the other girls.
So this prince has at least his head straight.
I mean, like, think about it.
But he
She's
did
been
fall in like 3
'cause
nights, didn't he?
Yeah.
No,
well,
that's the first night he saw her. No, actually, the whole picking out thing was not the real story. She did
No,
go
what do
there
you
to
mean?
dance
No, that
with
was.
him.
Yeah,
What are
obviously.
you talking about?
But
That's
like,
how I
like,
remember.
because
Ye-
it makes sense if you think about it, though. Because like, obviously, she's been mistreated by her
Mistreated,
two,
poor, hungry as fuck.
Yeah, and she's
sisters.
probably malnutrition as hell.
Yeah, she's probably malnutrition too. Like, how can she be
The food.
beautiful?
Yep.
Quote unquote beautiful.
How does she look so
But
good?
she's, probably malnutrition, skinny, and
God-tier
probably have
genetics.
bad hygiene too at that time.
Yeah,
Bunch
probably.
of makeup.
Maybe the magic fixed it for
The
that night.
magic
No,
of
I
makeup,
mean,
right?
Let's-
If your
let's
genetics
fix
are
it,
good
yeah.
enough, your teeth
Yeah.
could look god tier. Actually, straight up.
Wait,
without
what?
blushing.
How?
If your genetics
I
are actually
mean-
good enough, you actually really. Back then,
He
you didn't
just-
really need a brother.
What if the country was actually like in enormous debt and he just saw her shoes as a way to get out of it?
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
it could be
Oh, yeah.
golden shoes.
I mean,
Yep,
that would
getting
make
it.
sense.
Ooh.
I
Yeah.
was like,
Getting it.
ooh, those
Wait,
shoes.
What
Very
is
God
the
put-
And the
gives
best part
her
is
some shoes.
And the best part is that he got one. Is like, I need both
Yeah,
sides.
I just
I
got
can't-
one.
I
I
need
need
the
the other
set.
two.
Cinderella
I
should
mean,
took that gold
no-
shit and sold that.
No
shit.
one's gonna buy just one shoe. They need a pair of
The
shoes.
pair?
You could melt it
I
into a
need the
gold
other
bar.
one. Sells that shit for money. Easy.
It's like, you're the girl. No, we just.
All
need
right,
to
give
get
me your
her-
Also,
other
is that shoe,
goddamn
like,
shoe.
made of pure
We
gold,
just
by
need
the way?
we just need to get her to the
The
castle
shoes
and
were
grab
supposed
the
to
shoes,
be in
right?
fairy tale.
wait?
Yeah.
The shoes were made of pure gold,
Wait,
Maple.
is it
Yeah,
actually
Yeah.
pure
it's-
gold?
School.
it's not
It's
glass
supposed to be
slippers,
in
right?
Is
the
it pure
original
gold?
fairy tale.
24
They were
karat?
gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Isn't
supposed
that
to be
like
glass slippers.
So there's a
crazy
Yeah, it's supposed to be-
uncomfortable, Maple?
And it's supposed to be heavy as
Both
hell,
that,
dude.
heavy,
That's
Right?
and
pretty
also
much
That
how-
is
malleable,
daddy
isn't
thing.
it?
Yeah, it's very malleable.
How strong is
That's
she,
why she
Maple?
lost her shoe.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
true. And also,
Like-
like, can you guys imagine if you accidentally step on the prince while dancing in those shoes?
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure
Ah,
she had
you
no
fucking-
proper
She has no-
dancing.
yeah,
you
I'm
know?
just
Yeah,
I'm just
you know,
imagining
she should
her,
be the magic
like
potter.
trying to lift her foot in that shoe and like shattering her ankle, Maple.
Right?
No, those are magic shoes. You know how like Thor can lift his hammer? Yeah, it was kind of like that.
My thing is she walks around.
Thor,
No, I
Thor,
gotta-
Thor.
Melt.
I
let's
gotta
let's
say-
be clear about something though. Thor lifts. Like he
Thor
Oh yeah,
lifts.
of course. But we
Yeah,
all
he-
know
Have you
the
seen his
hammer. It's
muscles?
like if you're worthy enough, you could just do
I'm
it.
not crazy.
No, no, no.
So-
I'm just saying that we can't excuse everything with just magic. No, magic has rules.
Magic
It can't
has
be
rules.
just.
Fuck.
We can
What do
end
you
this
mean?
entire fairy
Not
tale
in
by
these
saying
fairy
magic
tales.
doesn't
You
exist.
think it gives a shit?
Do you want to make a contract?
You
Oh no.
Oh shit.
Albert.
Wait, Kyrie?
Kyrie B.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Kyrie?
Oh
I'm the
Do you
demon lord
guys want to
here.
make a? Do you guys want to make a
What kind
contract?
of
with
powers
us?
do I get?
contract.
Do you wanna make a contract?
What are my benefits?
I'll make a contract.
I'll grant you one wish,
Fuck yeah.
but
hell
in
yeah.
What?
exchange, you
You're
have
so
to
cheap,
become
though.
a magical boy and fight
Hell yeah.
witches.
I get to
Do
pick
we
the
have to wear a
costume.
skirt?
You have to pick
Oh,
the
no.
costume. Okay. So we
Next up
we-
then.
Next up, are we next upping? Or the
No, I
next
think-
point?
Are we gonna
Already?
keep,
Okay,
like-
there's a bit like
Already?
I have this. I always thought about this way back when I was a kid. Like the prince is going around town,
Yeah.
like looking for girls, right?
Yep.
Okay, we're talking. Okay, maybe the village is not supposed to be, and it's actually quite big. Even in the book, it's
pretty-
quite.
It's a
quite-
kingdom,
I
isn't
mean,
it?
it's
Yeah,
a
it's a
kingdom.
quite big
Like
kingdom,
all
yeah.
the girls
It's
in
a
the kingdom
kingdom.
were invited.
Kingdom.
Exactly.
That is
So it's
true.
like okay,
Really?
first thing.
Probably they probably could all fit in the
cast.
cast.
But then he's going around town, and it's not like he's like I think it took him like 2 or 3 days, and then to get to. I doubt you can do that by walking around town like that.
Yeah.
True.
There's also another big problem though. It's
Another
impossible that no other girl out there has like the same exact shoe, right?
Exactly.
No, it's magic though.
Yeah, it
No,
only
yes,
fits.
yeah.
Like
No, the
form
shoe,
fit,
yeah,
like,
only
vacuum
fit for her.
sealed to her foot.
Yeah, straight up vacuum seal.
That's gonna be impossible to have.
Exactly.
If that's the case though, like her sisters would never fit into it.
It's true.
Okay, here's
that's
another
true.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
Here's
because
another
these
thing I
are.
want to say. Here's another thing I want to say. The prince is part of a royal family and all that. They always have
Yeah.
enemies, especially when we're talking about slums. People in the slums, they
Yeah,
probably
the
hate
poor.
the yeah. How do they go around not having security and not get mugged?
Is,
I
is
also
he
want to
well
point
liked?
out, like, it has, like, it. This goes along with what Charles was saying. Like, is he well liked? Why is there no other princess or like other kingdoms?
Right,
Like,
Other
why is
kingdom?
there only one kingdom?
Like why?
That's
So
hard
here's
to
the question:
here.
Why
Me,
would
me,
you?
Cosmo.
Maybe like
Back
Babylon.
then,
Why
back
would you
then,
choose to
okay,
marry some
Cosmo.
random country girl in your country, but not
And
like
not-
a
and not a
political
princess.
marriage
Well,
with a princess somewhere?
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
She looks hot, okay? I need the
Okay, so,
punani. Fuck the political power.
This
Stop
was
Punani.
like a theory my drama teacher had.
Uh-huh.
Like the
Wait,
whole shoe was
Charles
a
should never be a
euphemism
prince
for like
or
for,
a
for
king.
sex. So he goes around the kingdom testing each.
Oh,
What?
And then I
Oh
guess-
wow!
Okay,
See?
either Cinderella is either super pretty, has like the best personality, or she's really good in bed. So I guess take your
You see?
pick.
Take your
Best
pick.
punani.
What the heck?
wow.
Okay.
Well, so, but here's the question: like if the proverbial shoe
If the
doesn't
shoe
fit on the
fits,
two stepsisters, what do they chop off?
What did they lop off?
Maybe they
What
just
do you-
didn't
what
I don't
Wait,
want to
do you
know.
No, what do you mean?
Just skin it.
Oh, the
That's why it's
proverbial
like a peeler.
shoe. Oh, okay. I know.
I don't want to know. Next topic.
Like those two young
Are we
kids.
getting to self mutilation now?
Can I
No,
just
I'm
point
thinking
out something
this.
that I'm hesitant to say?
Uh huh.
Mhm.
If it really is a euphemism for that, if he's really like going around the kingdom,
He's probably got some STD.
that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't he be like?
Y'all royal
Wouldn't he
STD?
be like
Do with
horribly diseased at this point?
Yes. Yes, he would.
Yeah,
Yes, he would.
probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
This is what my drama teacher.
Sir,
told
should
me
you
back
really
then,
stick
so.
it in that? She looks
But-
dirty and filthy.
But basically,
Ah,
that's
don't worry
that's
about it.
like
It's worth
the allegory your drama teacher is saying, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Mhm.
sure.
No, that was just an excuse.
Maybe.
No, I mean the fairy tale was an allegory. I mean, it's like the
Oh,
real
for,
thing
like,
is
for-
that's
for
what he
sex
did.
Stuff.
Yeah,
That's what he told me.
But then I think he might just be like
Crazy or something.
Yeah, it could be.
I question your drama teacher's validity.
I'm
yeah,
starting to believe him.
exactly.
I think his reasoning is sound.
Yeah, you would try.
Only trial. Hashtag only Trell.
Excuse me? I don't got anyone else. This is bullshit. I know you're all on my side, but you're just
No,
too
maybe-
shy to admit it.
Maybe Zer, maybe Zer.
Wait, why me? That's okay, Trell.
See,
I
told
believe
you.
somebody out there's on your side.
It's okay, Trell. I'll be on your side. I'll stick there.
You
Thank
stick,
you, Mo.
you stick,
I appreciate
Don't
it.
worry,
You're a
John.
real one. You a real one.
you stick with believing your drama teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence says the entire kingdom has STDs. Maple. I'm just imagining that he's like a walking spreader of all like Maple.
Well, that's why he's a prince.
Whoa,
Excuse me,
whoa,
the
whoa!
STD
Maybe
is a
this
part
is
of
a
the royal
giant reference
bloodline.
to like the plague.
Oh,
Caused
how it got spread around.
How it's spread.
Yeah. We're diving too deep. We've got too
well,
far.
This is it. This is the
Yeah.
deep level.
Alright,
This is what actually
let's go to
happened.
the next story, shall we? I mean, there's more I wanna
Next story
there's
already?
more I wanna point out, but like I think we're okay from
Yeah.
like.
Hey, Zoe.
His way.
Hey,
Hey
Zay.
guys.
Hey, Sway Maple.
Oh, pending, you gotta do
Finally,
Zway
gang.
now.
Yo,
Okay,
pending.
pending,
You
yeah,
need to-
pending.
Pending, you gotta
Pending, yeah,
introduce
introduce
Zway
him.
now. Zway.
Oh, I gotta introduce Sway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maple.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Maple. Okay. Give me a moment.
Give him a moment.
Give me a moment.
Just
I gotta get into character.
Yeah. He's getting the character right
Gotta
now.
get in character, yeah.
You don't wanna
He's
get
psyching himself up right now.
you don't wanna get
The
nitpicked.
roasting mood.
Okay, pending. I'll help you out. Okay, just make a stupid
Okay.
pun. Make a stupid pun, and I'll mute you. Done.
Perfect. A plus.
Okay.
That's all that's needed. Make it stupid.
I was trying to go with the editor stuff, but sure we could go with the pun stuff, Maple. Although it's not just Sway,
Okay,
Maple,
I'll-
because
I'll-
what you don't.
No.
What you don't know is that while you're not there,
Everybody.
Asu also does the hi back I'm Asu thing all the time. Maple. It's just that
No,
that
Yui, no,
Sway's
Yui.
the one that'll say it in front of
No,
you.
no,
Maple.
Yui. I say it not in front of you.
Okay,
Yeah.
actually, no, that's a good point. You know, so
Exactly.
it doesn't trigger my impulse to slap him in
Exactly.
the face.
I do it not to trigger you.
Yeah, see? that is fine. That is fine.
That's true. That is considerate, Maple.
So I'll help you out, pending. Okay, I'm back.
Hi back. I'm
Sorry,
Zoe.
Zoe can't
sorry,
stop
sorry,
himself.
sorry. I'm going to mute the veils, right? Right?
Yeah, fuck him.
Okay, done. Okay, we can proceed
Yeah,
on.
get fucked, bitch. That's right.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
Oh, Zai,
Come on,
Zai,
Zoe.
continue then. Come on,
I
come on,
think Zoe's
Zai.
AFK. Zoe.
No.
No.
Zai?
Zoe?
Zai? The veil, Zai.
Yeah, the
No, I'm-
reals one.
The real
The
Zoe?
real Zai?
The real Zoe?
Real Zoe.
Pending, we're talking about you.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking. I was so confused, Maple, because I'm just like thinking. Wait, but why are you waiting for?
Zoe. He's back.
Okay.
Yeah, we're waiting for you, Zai.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hi.
yeah, he's back, Zoe.
Oh wait,
He's been muted.
wait. Sorry. It's just started working. I'm so
Okay.
I'm,
Okay, I'm back.
hi, Zach. I'm Zwy.
Oh,
Maple.
okay. I'm going to mute you for that,
Oh,
Maple.
God.
You see Maple?
And then I'll unmute Zai, the fake Zai.
Hello,
Zai.
imposter.
Oh, hey, fake Zoe.
Hello.
Hello.
You sound just like him, though.
Yeah. It's like,
Uh,
are you like a body double?
Yeah,
No,
I'm really talented, Maple.
God damn.
Holy shit, man.
Is that pending?
Pending.
God, it's
What are you
pending.
talking about? I'm
It's
Zoe,
pending.
Maple.
Did you have a cold or something?
Pending is crying in
little
chat.
What do you mean? No, that's not just like him.
Pending is crying in chat. right now.
Okay.
You must undo your curse.
Okay,
Undo your
done.
curse, Yui.
Hey, pending.
Welcome. Hi, Penny.
Welcome back, Zoe.
Welcome back, Zai.
Sorry, Maple. I didn't mean to make you angry.
No. Kill Yui.
good.
Yui, how dare you make pending pendant?
That must-
I did not.
No, Yui, that hurts almost as much as when his ghost car got stolen by Zerb.
No.
Almost as
no,
much.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Why you gotta
Wait,
hurt
what do you mean
him?
almost as much? Why is mine still worse?
Because I get pending the hits and then I'm going
And
to
you
meet
called
you.
him smelly.
Wait.
And you called
I
him-
never
Pending
said
smelly.
what the hell?
What the heck?
Why you gotta be
What?
so mean?
What the fuck? You dumb
Yeah,
you
yeah,
No
he's
one
so
called
smelly.
pending
Was
smelly,
smelly.
Grub. No one.
No, it's not what you think. It's really not what you think.
What do you
I feel
mean?
like we
I
need
think
a
it's
ticket
it's
now.
exactly what I think.
I think we need a trial for you. Huh? You call pending smelly?
This got way
I
off
don't
track
know.
very quickly.
Okay. Anyways, let's get back on. Get back on track.
Yep.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
look
yeah.
at
Yeah,
next
yeah.
fairy tale then.
Next fairy tale. I guess we'll move on.
I guess so. Yeah.
Considering that we've already destroyed Cinderella for everybody.
Cinderella.
No,
I
we
said
improved
what's
it.
about
We
it.
improved it.
I
It's so much better
still
now.
I still like the idea that the shoe is somehow like vacuum sealed to her, Maple. Like it's one of those things
You gotta
where
follow a Momiji.
like it detects her on a DNA level and then it kind of grafts itself to her foot. Maple.
Yeah.
Was it like Venom from
God.
Spider-Man?
Exactly, Maple.
It's the
A
symbiote.
symbiote?
Just the
Yeah,
shoe just
yeah.
like the
It
gold
forms
just
around the
melts
shoe.
and then forms around
Yeah,
her
yeah,
leg.
melds around her. fucking
Exactly,
foot.
Maple.
Just
Like,
refuses
The,
to let
shoe,
go.
the shoe
See?
itself is the magic.
See,
Maple.
God
Cinderella wasn't only the first magical girl. She was that series was also the first Marvel comic.
damn. Oh my god! First Marvel comic, Cinderella. Holy shit!
So you're saying
Wait,
it's a superhero
what?
movie, right?
Yeah, it is.
Cinderella is a Marvel movie.
So I'm not
The
gonna.
moment she
So,
puts on
so-
the shoes,
so
Uh,
I'm not
becomes like a
gonna mention how
superhero.
like how you can water a tree with just tears because like
Just
by the
tears.
time that by the time she can water a tree with her tears for one day, she's probably gonna be blind.
Yeah.
yeah, that
And
takes
also-
a
Or
lot.
like
And also no,
severely
there's-
dehydrated to the point that she couldn't function the next day.
Right.
And also there's the
She
fact
could've
that
had,
break
like
a
a
shit
giant
ton of water.
straw.
okay,
Yeah,
logically
just a giant
speaking.
straw going towards the lake.
Okay, logically speaking, why are you putting a tree seed on your mother's grave? Isn't that disrespectful?
No,
No,
not in
really.
I don't
not
think
in
so.
European cultures and
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah,
that. Like they
in their
plant
culture,
flowers
yeah.
and stuff like
Your
that.
tree
It's
is
a
your mother.
form of
Pagan
uh,
culture. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's one of
it's
those things.
rebirth.
It's
Yeah.
respect.
So Cinderella is pretty much in the. Oh yeah. I mean, it's like fits
Well,
on
yeah.
that
Is
that
that burn
that
and
timeline.
cremation?
And
Yeah,
then,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then let's also forget the fact that like how can the prince not notice that her sister's foot is bleeding when they put the shoe on?
Yeah, right.
You know?
No. He's
like, they
thinking of the punani,
purposely-
all right? It's in his head. He's like, oh man, I can't wait to smash. Oh shit, you're bleeding. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Like
that's
he
right.
didn't. He obviously didn't pay attention to the face at all. He just
Yeah.
was in their cleavage the
Exactly.
entire time,
Yes.
and like
Yes. Exactly.
he
Isn't that otherwise?
purposely ignored that they walked.
But
They tried the
actually-
shoe on. It didn't fall. Like
Okay. Actually,
fit.
there's
All
an
the
explanation in the
days
book. There's an explanation in the book about that. It's like every night the prince, because of the magic or whatever, the prince actually forgets what Cinderella looks like.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
after
yeah,
every
I
night.
forgot
I think
Yeah,
I
After
remember.
every
Yeah, no,
night, he
but that
forgets
doesn't. But
what
that
he
doesn't
looks like.
explain. Okay, that doesn't explain the
Just
fact
gets a little
that,
minor
you know,
amnesia.
why would they not be able to see the fact that their feet
Yeah,
is
no, the
bleeding
bleeding.
the moment you put on
Yeah,
the
the
shoe?
bleeding foot is not
Nah,
explained.
nah,
No,
he's
the
not
bleeding
paying
explained
attention
is
to
not.
All right, he's
Maybe
The
not
they
bleeding
have
foot
like
is-
a
Leave in the
really
first
long
place there.
dress.
I want.
Just cover that.
No,
shit
I'm
up.
wondering like if he's like just looking at the face the whole time, like, is this the girl? Is this the girl? And then he's
This
just
is
like,
the girl.
and
I,
then
I
just-
slept with so many of them. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
The
I don't know.
play.
I'm
so
paying so
when they
many.
slip when they slip in they slip in the feet. I was like, is this? Oh, it's already in. Oh, okay, cool.
This was so wrong. This is also wrong with the context.
Yes, it does.
Or actually, you know what? What could happen is that they just give the family this shoe, like just give the girls a shoe, and they go
Yeah.
inside to fit it on, and it doesn't
Yeah,
fit, and then
maybe.
they put it on.
I mean,
yeah,
exactly,
And they
that-
come out with the shoe.
Yeah, they come
They
out with the
prob-
shoe. Yeah.
that might
If
be
that's
what
the
happened.
case, they could
That
have
might
washed
be.
it.
So, like, funny enough, magic plays a part in it. I have one of the copies of the Grimm fairy tales in front of me.
Uh huh.
What?
So, like, from just a brief summarization, every time she runs away from the prince, she like comes out of it naked because she gives the birds, like the doves that help her with all her chores,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
gives the doves the dress so he doesn't know it's her.
Wait,
So he like
what?
passes it off, and she
What?
magic into a tree to like hide from
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
never knew this
Show some
version.
fucking-
But
Why
I
does
mean,
okay.
I mean, I
give
guess
up,
that makes
though,
sense.
and
Like, it gives another like point
Yeah.
to Moe's teacher, drama teacher.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Like
Oh
that.
my
You know,
God,
she
see?
runs
Well,
out
because she
naked.
has
All
a
makes
string.
sense.
She goes to the tree. Like you were right about, like it's not really the fairy godmother. She goes to the tree. She shakes it, and she says, "Shake, shake, hazel tree, gold and silver over me." And the tree's supposed to shake. And I guess like the pollen or whatever comes off, and it's supposed to coat her clothes, and it turns it into the gold and silver.
I see.
Ah. So is it blue or white rice?
Oh
Gold.
my god, get out of here!
Hey, so don't bring this shit back up again.
Is it blue or gold?
It's obviously fucking blue. Shut the fuck up, Adrian.
it's both, depending on your point of view.
It's
blue.
always been blue. There's been proof that it's fucking blue, and if you
Yeah,
say
it's
otherwise,
actually
you're
blue.
fucking retarded.
No, I saw it as blue. I don't know why people see it as gold. That's
I have
weird.
no
to
idea
me.
how people see it as gold. I have no idea. But anyways, let's.
What are you guys talking about, Maple?
This is kind of old.
It's a meme from like 5 years ago, 10
It's
years
an
ago,
old
something
meme.
like that.
It's pretty old.
Surprisingly, I
Boomer.
know that one.
It's
Yeah,
okay. You
it's
don't need to. It's fine.
That's
It's
it. Strangely, you know that one.
Right? God, the dress. The dress.
Oh, free! Oh my god, the dress.
God, the dress.
Bye, James.
Yeah, that dress
it's
Moe,
just
yes.
like-
Hi, Jake. This name
I'm
Maple.
like, how? What's wrong with your eyes? You got
How
some
do you-
fucked up eyes.
Yeah, so no, the thing is, right? I was showing it to my friends, like, and this is like they this is like not the type of people who would do who would try to prank you or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was showing it to them, and they were like, "That looks gold to me." Like, how? How is that
Wait,
freaking
how does
gold?
that look gold?
Excuse me. What's with your eyes? Maybe you should take a little trip to the optometrist.
I love how Refunk
How
comes in
does
here
that
with
look gold?
logic.
It looks
Oh,
blue
wait.
to me, at least.
So on the
Blue
on,
black.
are you talking about the version on the far right, Maple?
No,
They're
yeah,
the
yeah.
same
That
thing, technically.
that far
All
right
the same.
picture was the one that went viral on the internet that people see, and some people say it's a gold dress, some people say it's a blue dress.
Well, if you're talking about the one on the right, that looks
Power of
gold and white to
scrolls.
me, Maple.
Ta-da!
Does it not look gold
Excuse
to
me.
you guys, Maple?
Excuse me, Ben. Excuse me. What did you
The-
just say?
Like the one on the left looks blue, but the one on the right looks gold and
How?
white, Maple.
See, because this is you pending, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or
I am being 100%. I'm being 100% genuine.
Okay.
You mean the
No, he's
picture on
sarcastic
the
right
far
now,
right, the
Funny.
third
Yeah,
one,
yeah, yeah.
the
He's
one with the
definitely
background.
the one the
sarcastic right
most
now.
on the right, right?
Yeah, the one with the background. The one with the background.
Chat's
Yeah, the-
freaking out,
the
like,
one
are
with
we
the
actually
background?
doing this?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
to me that looks like white and gold. Maple.
White and gold? See, I didn't even say
White
white.
and
but
gold,
she-
yeah.
I didn't even say white, but
Like,
Penny says
it's
white and
white.
gold.
But the dress
It's-
itself is still blue. You cannot look at that and say gold to me.
No,
I
actually,
I
It
what?
don't-
doesn't even look gold at all.
On,
No,
on
no,
the
no. What people say
the,
is like
the one on the
blue.
most
No,
the
no. What
one on the
people say is
most
that.
left.
No, what
It's
people
because
say is
of the
that the
lighting.
blue part they see the blue part as white and the black part as gold. That's what they say.
It's because
what
of the
people
tell
lighting
me.
of the.
That
of
still
the-
doesn't look like that.
Yeah, yeah. It's,
At all.
yeah, it doesn't
There
it doesn't
could
look
be,
like
like,
that for me as well. I'm just saying that's what people tell me.
We literally gotta whip.
I can
whip out
kind of
a
see the
color
black part
picker.
though.
Yeah. I can kind
The
of see
black
the
part
black
I
part
can
as
see being
gold. I can
goldish.
sort of
I can
understand.
I can
of
honestly
understand black
kind
as
of
gold, 'cause
see
I see
how
it.
it
I
could
kinda
potentially
see it.
be blue in another light.
Black
Because like the one on the far left, I see clearly as black and blue. But
Yep.
the one on, the one on the far left, I see clearly as black and blue.
Okay.
But the one on the
alright.
far right looks
Yeah.
like gold and white to me. I assume that's because of the lighting, but like
Yeah.
I think
I'm
it's
pretty
just
sure-
the lighting.
I'm pretty sure there's some type of science
But
with how our
but
eyes work.
when you look at the picture, so you guys are telling me when you look at the picture on the far right,
We see
you
black and blue.
see
It's
We see
you see black and
This
blue.
is all
Yep.
looped together. We're actually
That's
discussing
fascinating.
Cinderella's actual
This is-
dress
this is
right
Right.
now.
This is the dress
We,
right
By
now.
the
we are
way,
trying
by the
to
way, just so
figure
you
it
now.
out.
know, just so
Trying
you
to
know,
figure
What do you
pending
think,
this
Yuri?
Cinderella's
this
dress
was
right
a
now.
this was a 5 years old 5 years old
Really? 5 years
thing.
ago?
That
Yeah,
that's
this is an old
fascinating.
one.
I wonder how it is that you guys see it so
Maybe it's your
fundamentally different.
monitor colors.
It could
Oh,
be.
that's- no, that's
Maybe.
very true. That's very true.
as well. It
I'm
All
could
right,
gonna
be.
move it to my other screen.
let's go back. Let's go back to fairy tales, guys. Let's go back to
Wait,
fairy tales
can we
instead of
talk about
discussing
this?
memes and
Thank
the
you, Asu, for
gold,
derailing
black,
us
blue
further.
dress.
Hey,
Saying
this
white.
this is Cinderella's actual dress. Okay,
This
this
is
is it.
Cinderella's actual
What the
dress.
fuck is this?
People in the
Okay.
palace, people in the palace was trying to decide
Thank
whether it
you.
was black or
Yeah, they
Thank
were all
you
trying
for
to
the,
figure out
for
what
the
color
follow
it
Death
was.
Dragon.
They were
I
arguing
put
for
it
centuries.
up on I put it up on a different monitor.
we are still on track.
On the
Michael.
Same.
on the
Guys,
other
stop it,
on the
stop it,
other
pending, stop
monitor.
it.
Oh, yeah.
We'll
Okay,
discuss
okay,
this
okay.
later.
We'll discuss
ancient,
this
But
after.
I want to get to the bottom.
We'll discuss
No,
this
let's-
later. We'll
let's
discuss
go
this
back.
later.
ancient European scholars have discussed
Okay.
this for millennia. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so what? Are we still sticking with Cinderella, or are we moving to a different?
We're
fairy
gonna
tale?
move on to
moving
another
on.
one. We're gonna move on. The
All right,
next
we move
one
on.
we decided to do. Well, so I decided to do just because I. Yeah.
Sleeping
anyways,
Beauty, right?
Sleeping Beauty is the next one.
That's a good one.
Now here's the question: do you want to do the old Sleeping Beauty, like the original Sleeping Beauty, or the like
Yeah,
the
do
old
the,
one
the
was-
Grim Fairy
seems
Tale.
like-
Just as
It's
bad.
like
Which
the-
one's
Grim
the
Fairy
original?
Tale?
Because the one I know was
Original.
Yeah.
the sun, Natalia.
The
and
original
morning
one.
sun.
Yep.
Okay, so who
don't
wants to
wish-
tell it? Who has
I
But
the
I feel like the
original on
chat
their
can
hands?
I
relate more
don't. I don't
effectively
really
to the
know
Disney
Sleeping
one.
Beauty, so I
I'll
can't.
have it.
I can't really.
Can-
I didn't really. Know.
I can attempt to tell it based on what I
I
remember,
can
and we'll see
kind
how
of
much I get right.
tell it.
People.
Okay,
Alright.
well, all I know is that Angelina Jolie was like a bad girl, but not a bad girl.
Wait,
but
what?
that's all.
Okay, so the basic idea is
It's time to end Asu.
so long ago, like there lived a king and queen, and they had no child. And every day they would walk by the side of the river, and they would sit there and they would cry over the fact that they could never have a kid until like a little fish came out of the water and basically said, "Your wish will be fulfilled." So they started holding great feasts. They were inviting their friends and family. They were very happy when their daughter came. They threw a big party and invited a bunch of the fairies in the kingdom. And the problem was there was 13 fairies, and they only had 12 golden dishes out for them to eat. One of the fairies was basically snubbed. And so each fairy down the line gave the small girl a gift. Beauty, grace, talent singing, whatever that may be. But the 13th one gave her a bad wish and declared that on her 15th year she would be wounded by a spindle and she would fall down dead. Well, there was one fairy who had yet to go, and instead they couldn't cancel out the wish, instead changed it to where she would fall asleep.
Yep.
The king and queen, obviously very, very rattled by this, locked the girl up for years and years. But on her 15th birthday, the fairy came and tricked her out of her hiding hole to basically prick her finger with a spindle that was hidden in the castle. When she was pricked, not only did she fall asleep, but everyone in the kingdom fell asleep too. All the animals stopped moving, any of the pigeons stopped flying, and then large hedges of thorns grew around the palace. And then many, many years later, a king's son from a different land cut through the thorns and found the princess. It was kind of like a fairy tale to him. He was somehow compelled to kiss the girl that had been sleeping in this bed for who knows how long, and she had awoken. So that's kind of that story.
So the version I know is actually like a lot worse.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Same.
the prince saw her, don't know what the heck came over him, did
Ooh.
things, and
Yep.
while
Yep.
she was
Ooh.
still asleep, she got pregnant and
Mhm.
bore the
Uh-huh.
children.
Mhm.
I've heard
And
about that one.
That's the dark
yeah,
one.
and then like
While
in the
she was
years,
still asleep,
Yeah,
she
Yep.
yeah,
had the
yeah,
Yeah, she
child.
was
yeah.
still
Yep.
asleep by then.
yeah,
Oh,
And so like
Maple.
she
Inner
got
magic.
pregnant while she was still asleep, and the only reason she woke up was from the pain of childbirth.
I
Oh,
know the one I read
okay.
is like the baby actually sucked out the poison in the needle or something.
Oh,
I'm not too sure.
no, I
I'm
don't
not sure
know.
what happened to the baby.
What
I
the
assume it
fuck? Yeah,
lived.
then
You
what
probably
happened to the
spit it
baby
out.
then?
I
The
don't
baby
know.
sleeps then.
The-
Grew up, they grew up to be a god tier warrior.
But
I
but
Oh,
will
then
God,
make
she
it
that's
note
woke
in
up.
awesome.
that version, the baby is never mentioned
Hold
again.
on, hold on.
Oh,
Damn.
and
So basically, they just like threw it out or something.
Became
I-
Leon
but
Anders or
then
some
like
shit.
she wakes up and like the prince is like right there, whatever, and like, oh, okay, I'll marry you. And
Yeah.
that was
Right.
it.
And also,
I,
like,
I, I
how
s-
long did it take for the baby to grow for her to, for the prince to still be there when
Yeah, he's
she
chilling there for
when
like
she
9
woke up
months,
with the
man.
with childbirth?
No, I assumed he ditched her.
Yeah, right. I assume he
Yeah,
ditched her
that's
too.
what I thought too.
What?
Actually, it would make sense. It would make sense if he ditched her, but like would
It
come
would
back
make more
for I
sense.
guess like
More
seconds,
Yeah, no, no,
minutes.
Come
no,
back for
he
seconds.
no, I have.
Well, he
Okay.
did that to
Oh
one
my
person.
God.
Let's
I
say he
ha-
doesn't go through the rest of the castle.
I have
Oh.
I have a
Here's the
lot of
thing.
Well, you
questions.
marry him with like
Defenseless
STDs.
people.
I don't know.
Wait.
By the
The
time
I
you spread
just
the STDs
It's
throughout
like
the
no,
kingdom,
Sorry,
like
Penning, you
one of
were
my
wanting to say
dojin,
something?
you know.
Okay, yeah, okay. So Cinderella, not
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty takes place in medieval
Beauty.
times,
Yes.
yep.
and
Around there, I think.
we're talking about
Maybe
a
enlighten me.
woman who went into a coma when she was like
15.
15,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
was in the coma for X number of years. A prince comes, impregnates her, and then she gives birth to the child. Well, all the time still being in the coma.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Given the state of medicine at that time, Maple, it is I don't see how it's medically possible that she lived.
Right?
I mean, there were
Maple.
Very
fairies.
true.
Maybe they
Yeah.
had.
I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
how
they were
to
very
say.
good,
I don't
so-
know, man. You know,
I mean, like,
just-
think about nutrition as she was sleeping with
How-
child.
to be honest,
Yeah,
all
like
of them
there's no
should have been
The whole
Venus
dead.
back
kingdom
then,
would be
Maple.
dead,
Yeah,
technically.
whole kingdom should be dead. He should have came in. It's like, why is everyone dead? Like,
Right? It's like,
Yeah.
why is everyone dead? Well,
Wait,
No, no,
is
Trell,
everyone
100
asleep,
years to
Maple,
live.
or is it just
Trell.
you,
Back
Maple?
then, when you sleep, you don't die. You know.
oh, is that how it works
Yeah,
back
yeah.
then?
You don't even
Oh my
age.
God.
You don't even
Oh,
age.
you don't even
I
age.
guess
Yeah.
you want to go take a nap
Wow.
now?
Something.
All right.
Oh my God,
I
that's
don't
even
know,
so
man.
bad.
Everything.
I go.
Depending on the version, I think centuries even pass.
I mean,
Yeah.
why do you think I'm?
It was like
Wow.
Why do
years
you?
or something?
I mean, Trell, why do you think I'm dying? I don't sleep.
Oh, it's
In this
So
in the
telling us
story
to
I
go to
have,
sleep?
they say over
But I'm
100
not going
years
to
had
sleep.
passed.
Yeah.
Oh
100?
wow. Okay.
Over
so
100
she's
years.
she's legal at that point.
She's
Oh
like,
yeah,
what?
damn right she is.
Okay. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
the place would be overgrown though, and like spiders, whatever like
No,
manner
it's
of
not-
insects.
it
live
is.
there.
No,
Well,
everything
wait,
fell
no,
asleep
but everything
apparently.
fell asleep,
Actually,
right?
Everything.
Everything fell
What
asleep.
happens
All
to
animals and
the
everything.
What
fairy?
about nature? There's
Right?
nature.
Everything. No,
Everything.
animals and everything. Animals and
Everything
everything.
fell
I mean,
asleep.
like trees.
What is
like trees and
what
stuff.
is the radius? What is
Well, they
the
can't really
radius of the
sleep, you know.
spell?
The
The
whole
radius
kingdom.
is
If
the whole
the
kingdom
radius is the whole
radius.
kingdom.
The
Yep.
whole kingdom.
So-
So here's the
Okay.
thing. Here's the thing. So the whole kingdom
How big is the
was
kingdom?
asleep, but only the castle was covered in thorns.
Yeah, I think only the
Yep.
castle was covered though.
So
Yes.
here's my question
Well,
that I
only
asked
the ca-
previously: why did no other neighboring kingdoms come and take over?
Well, wouldn't the
So
fact
it
that
says,
wouldn't
like
the
in the
fact that
story, that a bunch of the other kingdom's kings sent their sons over to try and like battle up against the thorns, but they never sent an army or anything.
Right.
They
Yeah,
sent
right.
one boy on a
Yeah.
Why just
horse
send
with
their
a
sons?
sword.
Do your journey, Prince.
Yeah, like we're just gonna
Dad,
send our sons
why?
there and like
Oh.
be killed possibly by
That's
thorns.
free real estate right
But
there.
like, you know what? Forget
Fuck it.
about armies and stuff. We don't have any
Nah,
of those there. We
that's
don't want
too
to take
much
over
work.
a kingdom.
We're not gonna
the
mobilize.
easiest way to
Fuck
take over
that.
a kingdom is by marrying the princess, not by taking over by
Yeah.
force when everybody's
I
asleep.
mean,
I mean,
to,
yeah.
to
That's not
be
his
to be
goal.
fair, like with no population, no like workable population left in that area, all you're basically inheriting would
Yeah,
be
it's kind of
the
like
structures.
resources.
So
maybe
well, not
there's
Okay,
resources.
Well,
but
no,
okay,
like
Well,
not resources,
depends
like
on what
farmland.
resources
Depending-
they
no, no, no,
have.
no. But okay,
Farmland,
okay.
maybe.
There's this thing,
yeah.
right? Okay,
You have to
the
send
people
people over
who-
there to work them, though.
okay, no. For the prince who came in, they don't fall asleep when they enter the kingdom.
Yeah,
So that means the
Yes.
magic only works at
Yeah,
that
it only
moment.
works. Yeah.
It
yeah.
only
Yeah.
works at that moment that the thing happens. So afterwards, you don't fall asleep when you enter.
Can
So
I
that
can
means
I say
armies
Yeah,
something?
it's a time freeze basically.
Can I
basically
say
you can
something
take
really
over the
morbid,
kingdom.
Maple?
Okay.
Oh god.
Go
Sure.
for it.
Okay.
Okay.
So this put all the animals asleep, Maple, but it
Yep.
only put all the animals asleep in a certain radius, Maple.
Yeah.
Other
pretty much.
animals
Yeah,
would have
seemingly.
eventually gone into that area, Maple.
Yes.
That's
Pretty much
true.
eat
Gone
eat
in,
up
fucking eat them.
a bear will probably
Free
get
food.
into
Yeah.
that.
These are
Ooh,
not
Well,
look
yeah,
at
good.
all the meat on the ground.
The large
Yeah,
catch of
Maple.
thorns grew, but it doesn't
But-
give any kind of
Vultures?
time reference for
but
how
only,
and like when it grew.
Mhm.
But only around the castle itself, right, Maple?
See, around the castle, right?
Yeah,
couldn't
it's
have
only
gone
around
that
the
far.
palace.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
brambles,
So,
the brambles are on the castle only.
Most
Yeah.
of like the animals that fell asleep, and for that matter, most of the villagers, I would imagine, were not protected by the thorns.
Okay,
Eaten alive.
I
Assume
imagine that
Maple.
I imagine that the kingdom gates are thankfully closed. That's
Yeah,
what I
but like
imagine.
you have borders, right?
Yeah,
How
but-
big is the kingdom?
I don't know how
highly
big
doubt
this
they can
kingdom
wall
is.
up every single
I
village.
feel sorry for the one guard who fell off like the guard tower sleeping.
Does it
Like,
feel bad? Does
that's
it
the
feel
time I
bad?
feel sorry for.
He's gonna wake up going like, "Oh, my neck."
They could have fortresses.
If he even wakes up, you never know.
Yeah.
They could have
Yeah.
they could have fortresses, Mother.
Yeah, depending on the
Yes.
castle and the kingdom, they usually have like a village within the walls, not
Yep.
outside.
I mean,
Yeah.
like
Usually, the
the
peasants and stuff are outside, but like those who they care more about are
Those who
inside.
provide
There's
for
like
the
usually
actual
it's
castle are
several walls.
closer.
no,
Yeah, no,
basically,
but even then,
basically,
though-
no. Carcassonne, an old city in France, had that where it's walls and the village
Yeah.
are inside the walls. Like
Inside
literally,
the wall.
it's closed up. The whole village, the whole
Usually
kingdom is
that's-
closed up.
Attack on Titan.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
usually how it
pretty
develops, and
much.
like as they need to expand,
Yes, perfect. Attack
they
on
build
Titan.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, Carcassonne was an
sense, though.
actual city in France that was like that.
Yeah, because that's how it starts. You know, that's how
Yep.
a city starts.
So this kingdom is probably something like that. If but then it doesn't
Wow.
protect
No,
them
but
from
there's a problem
birds.
with that still.
Doesn't
though.
protect them from
What's
birds.
the problem?
What about corrosion? Like these walls are not built with modern technology, so they would
Well,
corrode.
no,
in,
it's
like-
only
Well,
if it's only
corrosion takes
100
a
years.
long
It's
time.
100
only
years won't corrode
years.
that much. It
That's
won't corrode
that.
that much.
Well,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that bad. Not
Honestly,
even-
honestly,
Oh,
honestly, medieval buildings and ancient buildings in general are actually less susceptible. Well,
they
I might
withstand
be
well.
incorrect
I
about
don't
this.
know the
But my understanding
dude.
is
geography though.
older
there is,
older
like,
buildings
old-
are less susceptible to corrosion, and the reason for that is because of basically a lack of understanding. Like they didn't know exactly how like the minimum standards to get a structure standing safely,
Mhm.
so they way overcompensated.
Ah,
So
I mean-
older
Thick as
structures
well.
are built
good.
to last more than newer
Yeah,
structures because
generally.
newer structures they understand more, so they can build them more economically. Maple.
Because
And you're thinking
and then you
of
see
it.
and you see like even logically speaking, now in Ireland, there's like a bunch of 100-year-olds castles
yes.
still standing.
That remain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Depends on
thinking
what's
it
built
as
out.
a time passing in this bubble, and it's describing that in the story that time just stops.
Yeah, it's
Like
the world
fire
basically.
left,
It just
and
stops?
they're
No, it's-
Time
turned.
stops. Wow.
It's the
Yeah,
world, dude.
yeah,
It's the
like
world.
time stops at that second.
And
But
that-
So
but
like
is it a
the
permanent
horses
stop?
fell
Because
asleep, but they kind of curled up and then they stopped moving.
Yep.
And then like
Hmm.
the woman who's by in the kitchen who's cooking the roast for the dinner for the feast that night. Like the roast is
Oh,
still
no.
on the pan, the fire is still under the roast, but
Oh.
the fire just
So,
stops. The heat
It's
just
like in
stops.
suspended animation kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
Something
so.
like that.
Yeah.
Some
That's-
are we going with that
But-
one? What about
but
air?
No,
but
this
there
is
was
actually not
clearly,
going with that one. It's actually
there was clearly some like some kind of like movement beyond after the time freeze because of the thorns, right? Like the thorns
yep.
grew, and
Yeah,
so
the
so
thorns
something
did have to
changed.
grow.
no. It's like it's a weird time stop where things
It's selective.
selective time
Selective?
It's
stop.
selective
We
time
would
stop.
assume that the
Hmm.
thorns are magical and they just grew in place to protect the
They get to
princess.
grow.
The castle is in a
Hmm.
bubble and the thorns grew outside the bubble.
I see.
Okay, so
it's just in the
and the
castle.
princess is inside the castle, I assume, sleeping.
Yeah.
right?
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
But
So if
Yeah.
everything, I assume everything, including molecules and stuff. What about air?
Let's just
I
see.
remember just
If
Okay.
it's a total time stop, and if you take the instance, like in the book, it specifically calls out the fire. Like the fire has stopped in its spot,
The fire has
like
stopped.
around
So
the
I assume
pan.
the air is also
So-
stopped, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
that's actually
I
a
never liked
good
like time
point
stop stuff
because
because once you enter that bubble, right, and air is stopped, how do you breathe in and
How
stuff?
did the prince survive?
I see it
He had
in
a
the
spacesuit.
house.
Magic, of course. Everything can be explained by magic, you know.
See, you guys think that the air stops for the prince. It doesn't. The prince has a bowl on his head for air to circulate.
also
Or
also
maybe
also
he's
kind of
Sandy
trading off
from,
that.
like,
breathe in the
SpongeBob?
air, just force, you know.
Kind
He was
of
holding his breath the whole time looking for the princess.
well
Exactly.
well,
Yeah, he was
kind
holding his
of going
breath while
off that.
banging her too.
Yeah.
If the
The prince is that
if
good.
Damn, he's
if the
that good.
prince
He's
like
so sick.
if the prince goes there and he impregnates the princess and the princess
I
like
don't know. How the fuck did she go into
the
labor
baby
and actually
grows and
develop a
stuff and
kid?
eventually she gives birth, yeah, then she's going under like a biological change, Maple.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
what
Pretty
it
much.
so-
changed.
Mhm.
So even if time is standing still, I guess at the very least the prince has the ability to influence things, like he operates
Yeah, maybe so.
beyond
Maybe
the
if
scope
you
of the
weren't
bubble.
affected
I'm
by the
sorry.
magic, you're allowed
So
to
Yui-
basically,
influence
like,
it.
Yui,
once he
this is
enters
life,
the,
Yui. This
thing,
is life.
everything
This is
just goes back
reality.
to normal.
Accept it.
Okay.
Anything he touches goes back to normal.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
I
I
think
mean
just
that could
any
be a thing,
outside
right?
influence.
Can you
The
imagine
outside
being the
influence
prince,
can
you know,
affect it.
seeing all of this
Yeah.
sleeping
I mean,
people
that's-
and like,
I mean,
oh boy.
And I can really relate
Can't
to,
wait to
because
fuck 'em
this
up.
is not the Disney movie that I saw.
Can't wait to bang all these sleeping
I'm sad
people.
because I only know the Disney movies and all of this new information is just
Yeah.
spoiling each
This is
and
the-
every
this is the
Disney
good
memory
shit.
I got.
Okay, I
This is
just
the
gotta
real
say,
stuff,
I just
yeah,
gotta say, no, I just gotta say
This
that
is the
the
OG shit.
Disney movies watered the hell down out
Yeah,
of
it's
all the
mostly watered
fairy
down,
tales. Like
yeah.
it watered down like
Of
crazy.
course they'd have to. This is too extremes, too
Right.
hardcore.
Yep.
But like, I personally feel that it's more fun reading the originals.
Yeah, I like
Actually,
it.
no,
I like
it's
these
more
better.
fun
Sadists.
for me, right? I actually like reading the original after knowing the Disney movies.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know?
Oh, that's
You
how
guys
it
are
should have been.
I like it.
Mm.
Can you
So,
imagine
anyway.
kids just
I laugh.
the next
I
thing?
look later on. I'm gonna point this out. They contradict themselves in
Oh,
the
yeah.
story.
They always
So-
do. They always do.
So they talk about like the time delay, how the horses like curl up on the ground, the birds stop flying and like tuck their head under their wings,
And
and
just
some of
dive bomb.
the humans fall asleep and they like collapse to the floor, right? Well, some of them are stuck in animation. So it says the cook in the
Yes.
kitchen was holding up her hand as if she would beat a boy, and the maid
Yes.
sat with the black fowl in her hand ready to
They're
be
just
fucked.
stuck.
No,
It's
I remember. No,
Half
I
of them
remember.
stop, the other half fall asleep.
I remember
selective.
hearing. No, I remember
It's
hearing about
selective,
like
yeah, exactly.
some guards are on the ground asleep, but some guards are like standing still
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
they fell asleep. They fell asleep standing up because they got
Damn.
suspended in animation like that. It's like I was like how is it not the same for everyone?
Selective magic.
Selective.
Everybody reacts to magic differently. I mean,
Yeah,
it's all
yeah.
generally the
It's
how it
same. The
works.
effect is the
It's-
same,
somebody
but
was
like the
sneezing.
reaction to it
It's
is
biological.
I guess so. The reaction to it is they each
Basically-
have like a power level, you know, and the ones that have a stronger power level, you know, they.
So
they
you're
get a
saying
different
you're saying is the level of midi-chlorians. Midi-chlorians is the one that affects it.
Wait, what?
Exactly.
So we're talking about Star Wars now?
No, still fairy tales.
No,
It's still
we can't get into
still
that.
fairy tales, still fairy
No.
tales. Hey, wait, you don't know you have midi-chlorians inside? It tells
No.
your connection to the
those-
force right now.
Yeah, the connection to the force, that shit inside your body. Oh yeah, if you have more of these, yeah, you have a stronger connection to the force. Oh, is that how it's always been? Oh, I didn't. Okay, the deep over.
So basically, if they have like more midichlorians, they basically like freeze in one spot instead.
Yep,
Just-
yep, exactly, pretty much. So those guys have more higher connection to the force and can
have a
probably
higher
do like
connection
Alright,
to
so-
the
so-
magic.
magic.
So can
Yeah,
you
to
imagine like
Basically,
if
this is
you're
like the pre-Star Wars.
Okay, can you
Like free
like
Ultimate
Star
sequel.
holding,
Wars.
can you
Like,
imagine
you
like
know,
What are
if
you
you're
talking
million
about,
holding
free
like
years
Star
ago.
Wars? This is how it's always been.
So it's
It's
always
always been like this. What do you mean?
right? So can you imagine like if you're
midi-chlorians are real.
holding
What you talking about?
the wall,
We
right?
got derailed. Oh my god.
We're derailed again as
I
usual.
I
Derailed
just
so
love
bad.
the thing that says Lightning posted Anakin Skywalker was my favorite character in Sleeping Beauty.
I love the way. Did you see their lightsaber battle?
Lightning. I revived a discussion of a 5-year-old meme, and now I revive a discussion of a 20-year-old. Yeah, 20-year-old story with
I hate
midi-chlorians.
that.
Asus class is actually a necromancer.
Your vibe
What?
He
with
just
it.
wants to raise a family, guys.
Meanwhile,
I'm
I'm still here in the corner, just fascinated by this dress thing that I knew nothing about.
So anyway,
And
yeah,
segue into a new story.
new story.
Are we gonna
Sorry.
move on? Or are we
Where's-
moving on?
where's
Thank you
our
for the
news?
host.
We've already.
Anything else? Anything else you guys want to
we good
nitpick
roasting
about
Sleeping
Sleeping Beauty? Okay,
I
here's another thing. Here's another thing, right? I was
Yeah.
like,
Ever after.
how shallow is this kingdom, right? This prince
What kind of
impregnates
shallow?
impregnates the
Yeah,
princess,
Of
right?
course, yeah.
And then the princess woke up from what
Pregnancy.
pregnancy,
See,
right?
Childbirth, the
childbirth.
pain of
And
childbirth.
then she's like all, oh wow, I got a
Oh,
child.
shit.
And then she,
Oh my
oh,
God.
you're a handsome prince. I'll marry you. And the whole kingdom accepted that.
Hell yeah.
Wait, he's still there?
Well,
Yeah,
I
looks like
gotta
he's still
imagine.
there.
He's either still there or he came back for some
No,
fucking.
he
I
came back.
gotta imagine that the rest of the kingdom is just pretty grateful to no longer be stuck in
No, they
like
don't-
trapped
they
in
don't-
I don't
time.
even know if they
Minds,
realize
though.
it.
People.
I would.
No, they
I
didn't
mean,
even know they were
if we're
Perception, though,
thinking
it
that
would've been
this
just
is
like 1
medieval
second.
kingdom, like this is a medieval time
This
period,
is medieval
that
times,
stuff happened like quite a bit, and as long as they had a legitimate heir, like they
As
wouldn't have
long as they
cared.
got something, man.
It could be that, like, you know, once he did the deed with her, he got frozen in time too, and she got pregnant, and then she woke up in childbirth, and then he woke up too.
It was fucking
Yep.
worth it,
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
the whole. I remember
Because
reading.
he
This
was
kingdom
just
infrastructure is
needed
broken.
to make her wake up. So
Yeah,
like, the
I
minute
remember
he finished
hearing
his deed, he was
about
frozen in
how-
time.
Jane is still inside her then.
It was still, he finished
No.
the deed.
Yeah, and the baby.
Gives-
No,
he gives
no,
birth
Moe,
right
Moe.
then,
The
so that
baby
makes
pushed him
more
out. The
sense.
Moe, the baby.
I want to think about that, Asu.
Oh, you gotta be like,
Please no.
The baby's all like, get out of the way. What's the stick?
There's this
Yeah.
stream has a lot more like lewd stuff that I
No.
thought.
no,
it was
no,
gonna
the magic
have.
at least let him pull out and zip up his pants, and then he suspended animation.
Like the original fairy
What a
tales
considerate magic.
pending are like either incredibly like graphically bloody or
super
like have
sexual.
very very like sexual connotations.
Yep.
So
Go
Obaken-
along.
Almost all
Obaken
original vegetarians.
says that Sleeping Beauty actually was worse than that. Momiji, the girl, was dead. Basically, nothing screams fairy tales like necrophilia.
Wait, the girl was dead. She was
Wait,
dead.
what?
Dead?
No, huh?
She was asleep. She was
No,
asleep.
was she? She
She
was
was
She-
asleep.
she
Yeah,
was-
and
There was no difference, like, cause she wasn't moving.
yeah, she wasn't.
Like
Like,
she
moving.
wasn't moving, she wasn't breathing, her body just wasn't rotting
Dude
either.
walks in, checks her out, and I was like,
Yeah,
think
from what I
she's dead.
remember, that
That's
she's
okay.
I mean, it's,
I mean,
it's
Pretty good though.
It's
You know
the
what?
Snow White
Same thing.
conundrum, where
Yeah,
like you're
yeah.
sleeping, but
Yes.
you nothing actually happens to your body.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wait.
Well, that's a
Oh
good
my
that's a
God.
good question though. If she's not breathing, she has no pulse, she has no brain activity,
How
she
does
has
the
no
does the
circular
baby grow?
function. No. What I'm gonna say is, in every sense of the word, she is for all intents and purposes
And is
dead.
dead. Yeah, pretty much.
people.
I
She
only
is
saw
so we know
this her in, like,
She revived.
a coma,
Comatose?
actually.
No, it's more.
Because
It's
we
not
don't know
dead.
about the brain
Isekai.
activity.
Okay,
We don't
it's
know how
technically.
That's true. Yeah.
No.
Oh,
sure.
hey,
Okay,
if
so-
she had brain activity, do you think she had dreams for like 100 years? Maybe?
She
Oh,
might
yeah.
have.
I feel like
She might
She
have.
had nightmares
No,
for a
it's
hundred.
No, okay. What
So
what
if
I
the
remember
time
is that
stopped, right?
she didn't die per se. It's just like it's just frozen
Yeah.
kind of deal.
Can I,
So
can I
time
say
stopped,
that,
so
can
in
I,
their
can I say
minds,
that if
everybody just, like,
Cinderella
woke
was
up for
the
1
first,
second.
magical girl,
Magical girl. Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty would be the first zombie.
Oh my
Yeah, I
God.
guess so. She should be the first zombie.
That's true.
That's a new spin on the Sleeping Beauty. She died in her sleep.
You know, I like it. It fits.
It does
Zombie.
fit.
これは zombie ですか?
Take that, George Romero.
Zombie.
The,
Zombie princess.
Zombie.
this is not a fantasy, story anymore.
Zombie.
It's like
Horror now.
a thriller.
We're destroying this.
What the hell?
You
I
love
like
it.
This is a physics
You
lesson.
love it.
You
Oh
love
my.
it. Sleeping Beauty was the original Monty Python skit.
All right. So what wouldn't is Snow White first or is Sleeping Beauty first? It'd be Snow White, right?
Snow White first. Snow White
Snow
first.
White.
It was Snow White first. The
Because she
story
did
was
the whole
best.
zombie thing too.
Oh, that's true.
Could you imagine if these fairy tales took
But
place
hers
at the
ended
same
more
time,
happily.
Maple?
That's right. Hers is a bit better.
Yeah, she gets like revenge on her stepmom.
Yep, she does. Yeah, the original
What
Snow
was the
White. Snow
revenge
White.
again?
No, the original Snow White. The stepmom did die falling from a cliff, like in the Disney movie. She actually later on, when after Snow White woke up and then married the prince and all that, she got revenge on her stepmom.
It was pretty gruesome.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Was it the one
really,
that,
really.
like,
I thought the Snow
burning
White
hot
story
iron
was
shoes?
that yeah, she made her wear
Yeah,
shoes
yeah.
and dance.
That's what
in
happened.
it.
That's what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
And it was
And
during
dance to that?
it was during the wedding ceremony.
Yeah.
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 Iron shoes, which were
Okay,
like,
so
you
I'm
know,
not
hot
misremembering.
and like, you know,
Yeah,
heated
hot,
up.
yeah.
heated.
Like
Yeah.
actually burning.
Yeah,
Yep.
burning.
That's what it was in the original Snow White. Like that's how she actually killed her stepmom.
Dance her to
Was
death.
like,
That
That's by
story,
dance.
that
pretty
version
fun.
of the story actually sounds pretty
DVD.
lit.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what?
What?
No,
What?
I was saying, that version of the story sounds pretty lit.
Pretty lit.
Yui.
Oh, yeah.
It's too
That's
lit
crazy,
for me.
Yui.
My
It gets
brain is
crazy up
fried.
in
no,
here.
Yui,
Dancing till she's
do
dead.
you
My
don't
God.
did you get the pun? It's pretty lit. LIT.
Yep.
Because the shoes on fire.
And that is why Zai muted himself.
Hey. I'm sorry, Zoe.
No, I'm not
I
sorry at
shouldn't
all. He
prank up
deserves it.
again. Alright, next, let's move on, right?
Let's okay.
What's
Are we
next?
gonna move on
Snow
to the
White?
next story?
Are we going to Snow White?
Yeah, why not?
Which is the next
Little
story,
Mermaid.
Maple?
Yeah, what would
Little
be the
Mermaid,
next
right?
story? What
Did
do
I say
you
Little
choose?
Mermaid? I think I wrote like the Frog
Yui
Prince.
Frog.
Oh yeah. You wrote
Frog
Frog
Prince.
Prince. Yeah.
Oh, I don't
Oh,
know
Frog
I'm
Prince at
not
all.
particularly familiar
Maybe
with
she
the
can always
Frog
tell it
Prince,
again.
Maple.
Yeah.
Could you give
Should
us
we
a
go for
summary?
like more popular ones?
I
first?
know like the middle of the road story for that one, but I don't
I mean,
know like
I know-
the
I know-
original one.
Yeah, I know the basic one, the one that's like in children's books.
I saw
same.
the Disney movie that came out like 10 years
Yeah.
ago, Maple. Is that
That's
related?
not the
Time
same.
to destroy your
No,
childhood.
it is completely
think-
different.
It's
I
so
think we should
totally
go for
different.
this one
It's
for
just a
later.
frog tricking a girl.
Yeah.
What do you
That's
Shall
mean?
we,
really-
shall, we,
Frog.
shall we do another one then instead of the Frog Prince?
Yeah, let's do another one first, I would say.
I
No,
love
I mean we can
Little
go.
Mermaid.
No.
So,
I
like,
feel
if
like
you do the original Little
no.
Mermaid.
I feel like if we go
Ariel.
to the Frog Prince, then go to a familiar one would be better. That's what I feel like.
Think so?
Yeah.
Like we could do the Frog Prince. But I would just need a summary because like what I
Yeah.
know about the Frog Prince or what I think I know about the Frog Prince is there's this prince that got turned into a frog, Maple, and he was told that like the only thing that would make him human again was true love's kiss, Maple. So he finds a princess who falls in love with him, Maple, and then eventually she kisses him, Maple, and then he turns back into Prince, Maple, and then they live happily ever after again.
That is
Maple.
Beauty and the Beast.
definitely
Never
not.
restaurant.
Beauty and
So
the Beast.
someone like I can tell what my version was.
Go on.
So the one I know about was a little girl. The princess was playing by like a lake, and she had a golden ball, and the golden ball fell into the lake.
Oh yeah, she dropped that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she started crying, a frog showed up and asked what was wrong. When she told him she lost the golden ball, he said, "All right, I will retrieve it for you if you do me a favor." And he basically said, I don't want any kind of like payment. What I want is to live with you and to eat with you and to sleep beside you, basically.
Mhm.
And I'll bring you your ball back. And she's like, "Oh, well, it's a frog. I'm just going to take the ball and run. And that's exactly what she does.
Yep.
So the next day, like at that night, there's like a tapping on the door, and the frog somehow makes it from the lake to the castle. And he tells the king about the story, and the king forces the princess to do everything that was asked.
Mhm.
So she has to share from her plate. She has to live with this frog, and then he has to sleep in her bed from that point on, as a way of teaching her that whatever promise you make, you have to keep. And then when she wakes up the next morning, there's a prince like staring at her, and then the story of how he was turned
It's like,
into a
Colin, is
frog
that
by
you?
a fairy. Yeah, basically. Basically, he was a cruel person and needed to be taught that there is kindness in things other than just love.
Yep.
So, yeah,
Also,
that's the story
in
I know.
in one version, like, so there was actually various versions of how he returned to normal. First was like, I don't know, he's sleeping next to her in the bed on the pillow, turned him into a prince the next day. The other was like the princess threw him against the wall, and he turned back into a prince. And
Oh, is that how it-
and the third one is that
Yeah.
she kissed the prince, and then she turned back into prince.
I like that throw against the wall.
Right.
That did the trick.
When in doubt, throw him against the wall.
It's like, oh my god, he turned. What the fuck happened to him?
I will say they are definitely not in Louisiana. They definitely do not have good food, and no matter if she kisses him or not, she does not turn into a frog as well.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
the musical the musical numbers are still part of the lore, right, people?
Yes. It's always part of the lore.
As all good fairy tales go, you have to have music,
Yeah.
and singing
Excellent.
to birds and,
Of
and
course.
animals and stuff, right?
Yep.
Mm.
I mean, that's what these like little tiny paragraphs are for, I'm assume.
Okay, the one
Yeah.
that I remember. I mean, I remember they have to live together thing, but the princess doesn't like it. She's being all tsundere about it and everything, right?
Mhm.
And so pretty much that the thing happened like 3 days, 3 nights before she starts warming up to him or something like that.
Yeah.
And then that night, then the transformation happened. I can't remember if it was a kiss that made the transformation happen or
No,
not.
no, no.
In
Throw
the
him against the
original
wall.
wall.
Story, there was no kiss.
I love the throw against the wall
Yeah, I
part.
like to throw against the wall.
She got fed up after 3 days, and she threw him against
tosses
the
his ass against the wall. He's like, Baka, Baka. It's just fucking. Oh my god, what happened to him?
wall. Tsundere go like, yeah,
Tsundere
I
style.
like you.
Yeah,
I really like you, Baka.
yeah,
Baka, boom, and then he
tosses
turns
his
into a
ass.
prince.
She like had a giant mallet. that she
Giant
could-
mallet. Yeah. And then when he turns into a prince, she's all like, "Whoa, Baka." Damn.
Baka.
Shows off his abs. It's like, oh my god.
Wait,
Wait, what?
naked by then when he like turns
he's-
back
Yeah,
to
yeah,
normal?
pretty much.
He's got to be naked. He's like,
She's probably like, oh, can I have more frog?
Baka.
yeah.
Why does he have to be?
Flung
It's
like a
magic,
horse.
Maple.
Oh no.
Say what?
It's magic, Maple. Why does he have to be?
Magic doesn't exist. Only physics and science.
Shut the
That's
fuck
not
up.
this is
Actually,
explain
we're
talking
why
about
he
a
gets along with such a force
Actually,
into
from
a man.
from the book I
Maple.
remembered. From the book I remembered, he is actually naked when he, but
It's gotta be
he
naked.
he sort of like because he woke up on the bed, right? So there was the parts were covered,
I thought you meant like getting thrown into a wall.
but of course the thrown into a wall. What part that one I never heard. This
I like that one.
used to
That's
be.
better.
I like it.
No, it gets better. It gets better. In mine, it says when the princess awoke on the following morning, she was astonished to see, instead of a frog, a handsome prince gazing on her with the most beautiful eyes that she had ever seen, standing at the head of her bed. So he was just staring, like he was
Yeah.
like,
That's,
really
that's what it
totally
was.
entering
Exactly.
her
Right.
while she was sleeping.
No, it was
The whole
creepy as
Edward
hell.
Cullen thing. Just staring.
Is he naked?
Just staring. Was he naked?
That's the question though,
was
because if it's the head
naked.
of the bed, right? Just standing there like buck naked with a thing though.
The one that I
in
remember-
front of her face.
Fucking
The one that I
opens her
remember
eyes
was
and sees the
in-
fucking dick. Fucking erect.
The one that I remember was he
Oh,
wasn't
God.
spending. The one I
That's a
remember, he
different
was
type of
actually on the bed.
What?
Yeah, the one I remember was he
Standing.
was on the bed beside her. I didn't remember her, the standing one.
Oh god.
Yeah, this
This
one
story
was
is already
standing.
Which is
really
Okay,
worse
funny.
it
though? Which
fits.
is worse? Waking up to find some naked dude sleeping beside you, or waking up to see a naked dude standing and staring at you?
Standing,
Standing is
staring,
scary. Absolutely.
Standing,
erect
staring.
phallus,
Yeah, that would be scary.
waiting to
Okay,
go.
okay. To be fair, this is a princess. The head of the bed probably has like a huge ornament or whatever to cover those things down there.
Yeah, he took it down.
Just took it down.
You can't take that down
to
without breaking
surprise
the
her when
bed.
she
No,
wake up.
you take that down, you break the bed. We're talking about the
Mr.
head.
Guppy,
We're not talking about
I
the
got
foot
you
of
a
the bed. We're
present.
talking about the head of the
If he
bed.
got thrown into a wall, he'd be really angry. He'd go through like lots of lengths to get revenge.
Yeah, but
She'd be scarred for life.
No, in
He'd
the
be
standing
happy.
staring version, he wasn't thrown into the wall.
Oh, okay, never mind. Then.
Yeah, in the
I'm
standing
really,
staring
I'm
version,
really
he
focused on the throwing into the wall one.
yeah. No, that one happened instantly. Like, stop.
Turns
throw,
out
boom.
Prince was a
Oh.
masochist. He liked getting thrown against the wall. It got him erect.
Show me more.
He probably
Loyal
does have
jokester.
more jokes there. Yeah, he probably does
I
have.
saw that and I'm like, oh no.
Yes,
I'm
he
not-
did. That's
I
how it
am
was.
not at all denying that.
I'm
course
not
he
gonna
did.
say anything about that. I'll just let the
I'm
guys
too
do
young for
it.
this conversation.
I am going to confirm that Lord Joker is right. Definitely did.
I'll
For
just let
sure.
the guys
Yeah, I
Because-
noticed. It's only the dudes talking right now. With
Okay,
this.
here's the thing.
The ladies have all shut up.
He was ready to go. He
Here's
was
the thing,
waiting
right?
for her. So
Here's
he,
the thing,
look,
right?
look, he was a nice guy. He waited for her to wake up to give consent, and of course she
I mean,
did.
unlike
Yeah,
what
he
you
was a
saw,
nice guy.
right?
No,
It's
he
already
was a
better
nice
than
guy,
the other
yeah.
stories.
No, one thing that I remember is that the frog was the one who fell in love with her first,
Why?
and
Yeah.
she only fell in love
Yeah.
with no through the whole 3 days. Through the whole 3 days,
Isn't
that's
he-
when he
isn't
fell in
she
love.
like what, 14 years old or something?
Yeah, she's super
13,
young.
14?
Oh,
But back
God.
then
Yeah,
that's okay, fam.
Yeah,
Back
she's
then-
still playing with the ball, like
Yeah.
outside.
Exactly.
No.
No, well, what
Like,
I
she's
remember.
really, really young.
No, what I remember was that from the 3 days they were together, right? The frog fell in love with her,
Yeah.
but she never fell in love with him until he turned into a prince. But
mean, yeah, it's a
she
frog.
was chumming up to him as a friend.
Yeah, I see.
But the love
His
happened
own-
after the prince prince
Not
formation.
I mean, like,
Not
it
until
would,
she's
it would
done.
totally make sense because, like, as a frog, he knows that he's a human, so it's okay for
Exactly.
him to fall in love with a human.
Yeah,
But like,
Exactly.
as the
But
princess,
for her, it's like,
she's a frog.
I don't know
so,
about
like,
this.
It would totally make sense. The fact
It's
that
gonna look kind of weird in front of the others
Well,
in the kingdom.
Well, I mean, he might be human, but also from the sounds of things, he's falling in love with someone that's really young, maybe.
Yeah, but
Well,
back
no, like,
back.
it-
That's okay.
This is the
back
medieval
then. Back
days.
then,
This-
yeah,
in
no,
the-
just
yeah.
think about it. Romeo and Juliet. Juliet was like 14 years old.
Yep.
They
Romeo.
got married.
Yeah, back
Yeah,
then it was
exactly.
kind of normal.
Yeah, back then it was pretty much completely all right. It was
Yeah.
fine.
What's it
I
called?
mean, even
What's
the-
diet?
the
Well,
norm.
when you die at 29, like
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta get
Well,
it quick. You gotta get it quick, man.
That's the true
And the prince
The
himself
moment you're
wasn't-
ready, we're gonna do it. It's
No,
it's-
the-
we don't
the
do it. We're gonna die.
Yeah, the prince himself wasn't like 20 plus as well. He was like in his
Yeah, he was
teens
pretty
as well.
young.
Yeah.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
How
remember.
How old is the frog in this story,
Don't think
Maple?
they
I
don't, ever say.
they never say. They
I don't
never
think
say.
they
But
should
usually,
Yeah.
usually with these fairy tales, they're
Yeah,
like
you
super
assume
young.
he's
They're
kinda
the
young
teens.
too, yeah.
Yeah, because back
Yeah.
then, being in the teens is pretty much being a young adult.
Yeah, young adult, pretty
16.
much. Straight
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
So okay, I have a question. So a frog's life expectancy is 10 to 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'm assuming
Yeah.
he wasn't a frog for 10 to 12 years anyway.
No, he wasn't.
Probably not. yeah.
But let's consider this. Given that frogs age at roughly 10 times the rate of a human, if he stayed in a frog's body for 1 year,
For a year.
would he have advanced 10 years
Would he be at 10?
in human terms?
Probably not. I
maybe?
would assume that the magic
Maybe
would
not.
I would assume
convert
no.
human to
It's like separate. Maybe it's separate like
yeah,
that.
would convert
Yeah.
That
them.
just makes me
I
bring up
assume-
another point. Which kingdom had a missing prince go
Had a prince,
missing?
right?
And
Had
no
a
one
prince.
found him?
Well, now you
Exactly.
understand. Now you understand why no one ever invaded like Sleeping Beauty's kingdom, because like one
They
of
was
the
looking for
neighboring
the
kingdoms had a missing prince. Another neighboring kingdom had a prince that was like just searching madly for this woman who could fit in a shoe.
And
So,
then third
all
kingdom
the
had a
other
princess
kingdoms are
that was
too
also
busy.
asleep.
yeah,
Every kingdom's kind of fucked.
yeah,
Every
exactly.
kingdom's got their own problems.
Yeah, every kingdom has its own things to deal
They're
with.
all
Man, but
getting
they didn't
fucked
have
in some way.
time.
This
They
is this is the fairy tale cinematic universe.
Oh,
It
yeah,
all
yeah,
this
the-
universe, it all connects
Make
together.
these, make that.
Even though they seemingly have different like timelines they take place in, but fuck yeah, they're all
So
connected.
it's like
And let's not
one of
forget,
the
another
failed
kingdom had its
princess.
prince turned into a beast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Oh,
just
yeah,
in the-
wondering,
Beauty and the Beast,
like,
isn't it?
okay, if it's the same witch that turned one prince into a beast, she obviously got tired with that ploy. And like
Yeah,
one of the
started-
princes
Yeah,
who
tried
tried to
something
rescue
else.
Sleeping Beauty failed and
Hey,
refused to
nope,
return
yeah,
back
can't
to
do
the
that.
kingdom.
No,
And like got
what?
turned into a frog when he
Yeah,
found
I
the
was
old
about to
woman
say,
again.
let me ask you a key question, Maple. Let's assume that this is going to be a cinematic universe that's linking all these fairy tales together, and like the Samuel L. Jackson kind of like guy, you know, the one guy that kind
That
of
connects- that
serves
connects
as like the
everyone.
connecting
Yeah.
thread, exactly,
Yeah.
is going to be this wicked witch cursing
Yeah,
people.
pretty much,
so,
yeah.
So my key
It's
question
always the
is,
same witch.
who plays which actress do they cast for this? key
Angelina
role?
Jolie. No, I'm just
Angelina
kidding.
Jolie.
Angelina
Angelina
Jolie.
Well,
always,
Why are you
always
And
no,
they're
no,
Angelina
just
no
gonna
Jolie.
hesitation,
have,
no.
Always.
Yeah, always Angelina Jolie.
and they're just gonna get the dude who plays Geralt to be the huntsman to go around and
Oh,
kill
oh,
her.
what's
There
his
you
name?
go. He's we got a
Henry
huntsman.
Cavill. Henry Cavill.
Oh,
Hmm.
Superman.
Yeah, Superman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Witcher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Geralt-
Yes,
Geralt
The
of
Witcher.
Rivia.
Is this?
Yeah,
Man, he
Geralt
does
of
a good job playing the Witcher, Maple.
No, he was
does.
great as Geralt.
Yeah. Like I saw,
Do you
I saw
really?
like
Oh, you know, there's a okay. This is very off track, very off track. But there's a rumor saying that he's gonna play Wolverine in Captain Marvel 2.
What, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Ooh.
interesting.
Ah.
Can I watch?
I saw.
I'm just wondering if like he's gonna play Wolverine in the Deadpool movie. Like
Right?
that's where I'm at next.
Right?
Yeah.
Are they gonna somehow make the Deadpool movies tie in to
Yes.
like the rest
Yes,
of the Marvel
they are.
Cinematic
Yep.
Universe?
Yes, they are.
Oddly enough, that's like the one thing I could think would kind of work, because
Work,
I couldn't see them
exactly.
integrate like the overall X-Men.
No,
cinematic
the
universe
the
into it.
overall X-Men is gonna get a reboot. But
Yeah,
the
yeah, that
Deadpool
makes
movie,
sense.
Deadpool movie, they're just gonna tie it in just like that because it's the only
Yeah,
one that can
well,
that can work.
Yeah, because Deadpool always is very tongue in cheek with the canon, anyways, Maple.
Yep.
So they could easily incorporate it in with a wink and a nod, Maple.
Yep.
The
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that
He was
Yeah,
not
that-
confirmed. The only reason he said he would ever pick up Wolverine again was to be in Deadpool.
Yeah.
That is the only
Mhm.
reason he would pick up
Mm.
Yeah,
the
he
character
wasn't
Wolverine again.
confirmed.
and that would be interesting, Nickel Works, if like Deadpool just makes a cameo in every.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
Upcoming
It's
movie,
a different
Maple.
fairy tale. It was signed by Disney. It's fine.
yeah. I mean,
fine,
it's
it's
still
fine.
Disney. It's still
Oh,
Disney.
yeah. We're definitely still Disney, of course. This is all part of the
It's
universe.
not fairy tale at all.
What are you talking about? This is
Wait.
Fairy
This is a
tale.
modern fairy tale.
Hmm.
A modern fairy tale. All right.
This is
There's
a modern
unicorns in
fairy
it.
There's also fairies. There's actual fairies
tale.
inside
Yes.
Marvel Universe.
Yeah, see, it's fairy tale.
It's fine. It's fine.
Should I just quote what Lightning said?
Yeah, Princess
So-
Deadpool.
No. That's something Deadpool would definitely do. So no.
Imagine that happening.
Yeah, you go
You
for
should
Sleeping
meet a
Beauty
friend.
and find fucking Deadpool in a fucking dress.
So that's Momiji's
Excuse
next
me, where's the
target.
princess?
Is that Momiji's next target?
Deadpool.
Yeah, it's Deadpool. But it's like, excuse me, where's the princess? I am the
I don't know.
princess.
Between Deadpool and Wolverine, I'd probably take Wolverine.
People want
To
me to
eat?
princess dress for the second
Yeah,
movie. Y'all know
Momiji,
that.
you're gonna eat Wolverine?
I don't think Wolverine's edible, but I'll take him.
Ooh,
Take him as
you'll-
you want.
you'll-
She'll try.
you'll take him.
Especially
How are you
if
gonna take it?
Henry
He lives on my
Cavill.
shelf.
Especially if Henry Cavill takes over the role, right?
I can have him dress up and have fun, tea parties and all that sort of thing.
So we're just gonna make our own fan fiction at this point.
Oh, yes, yes,
He can tell
We're
me-
making
he
our
can,
own fairy
like,
tale
he
now.
can- he
Our
can
own
make
fairy
a
tale.
mistake
Submission.
Tying everything back together. Do you think? What? Sorry, can you repeat the name of the Wolverine's new actor?
Henry
Maple?
Cavill. This is
Henry
not.
Cavill.
It's still a rumor
do-
right now. Still a
Do you
rumor.
think, assuming that this comes to pass, do you think Henry Cavill could potentially answer to me the question as to why I see the dress as like?
Possibly pending.
Only,
He
only
does have like
he
regenerative
plays
eyes.
the stepmother as well.
Yeah.
He has to play the
Mhm.
stepmom.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, Wolverine has regenerative eyes, right?
Yeah.
So his
Right,
eyes might
Maple.
regenerate when he got poked out, and he'll see it tomorrow. He'll see it as gold and white instead. You know.
Oh, I see. That's how it works, of course.
Rapunzel's with you,
Sure,
pending.
Sheena
Rapunzel's
says
with you.
everyone on screen is banned from
Yeah.
moving for the rest of 2020. It's okay, I don't meme
Hey,
anyway.
I did not join
Excuse
the
me, never
meme.
memed
Okay?
anything.
Excuse me?
I want to be very clear about something, Maple. I'm not trying to meme. I'm just genuinely fascinated by this, Maple. I'm sorry. I know I'm 5 years behind, but I found out about
No,
this
no, no, no.
today.
I know, pending. I understand. It was fascinating to me on the day it happened as well. I was like, what?
Day it happened.
How did you see that? That's amazing. How do you
5
see
years
that?
late.
Your eyes are fucked. You're missing a
So-
couple cones and rods in your eyes. You better get them checked.
I might be Maple. I don't know if my eyes are broken,
You
Maple.
better go to the optometrist, pending.
Actually, some people made a research. You can search online for some people who made a research on why people see it differently and all that.
Oh,
Rods in your
Bakken.
eyes. The
I'm not
cones,
e-
the rods in your eye.
Obakin says, I'm not even joking. Disney owns the Alien franchise now, so that means the Alien Queen Xenomorph is actually
It's actually a Disney.
There you go. It's gonna be some love story with the fucking
Does
predator.
does that mean that Momiji's ate the xenomorph as well, Maple?
Wait, what?
Wait,
Damn,
how do
Momiji
you,
took on a
You're
xenomorph
just gonna eat
queen and
everything.
destroyed her?
how do you get through
My God,
the
Momiji.
acid blood? How do you get through the acid blood? That's
I'm a demon
amazing.
lord.
She's a demon lord. She
Mhm.
eats
I'm a
that shit.
demon
It's like
lord.
it's like a
Tastes
spice for her. It's like
and
ooh,
A
sorry.
spice for her.
it's like ooh, a little
Yeah.
spicy. Mm.
We devolve into nitpicking Momiji.
Momiji's lord.
Maple.
You're the one who gave me that lore.
Momiji's
Don't
lord.
nitpick it.
Momiji's
No,
lord.
that's true. That's true, Maple.
Yeah, her stomach acid
I
is
gotta
like
go,
it's a
so I hope you guys
Oh,
have a good
okay,
day.
Moe.
Have a good night, Moe.
Have a good night, Moe.
Tell the
Night.
messages to other
Thank-
people someday.
Okay,
Yeah,
Moe.
thank
Good
you.
night,
I
Moe.
think the
You sound
drama
like you're
teacher.
dying.
Have a good dream. Have a good dream
I
of
do the
choo-choo
drama teacher
trains.
for us.
Laura's already gone.
Yeah, she's gone.
Mm.
Fine. Okay, guys, do you want to end this? Actually, do you want to end this here, and then we'll actually, I'm pretty interested in this, so we can pick on more fairy tales, in the future.
Yeah,
I
in
think
There's
the
I
so
want-
future.
many
Yeah, sure.
more.
Yeah, we
there's
could
a lot
actually
we can
do a
nitpick.
part
I
two
wanna
of
go
this.
Red
Riding
and
the
Little
front
Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Red Riding Hood, Little Mermaid.
No, we
there's
went
so
through
much
three. We went through three. This one.
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely 3.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
we
The
were
thing
talking
is, no,
about
the
this
thing is about
off-stream,
the
right?
no,
There's
the
like
thing
the
about
Given,
Princess.
no, the thing about the Frog Prince, right?
Yeah.
It's you can hardly poke a
Golden
lot of holes
Goose,
in that
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
you know?
That's
because
why we kept talking
Ooh,
about
Rumpelstiltskin
getting
was
thrown
really
into
Oh,
a hole.
Rumpelstiltskin, yes. That's what I
oh,
poke holes in.
Rumpelstiltskin,
I
that's
love
a
that
good
one.
one to actually yeah.
Isn't that one really
That
grim?
one yeah. I mean
You can't-
even the watered down
it's
one
all
is
the
pretty
grim.
grim.
Yeah,
I know, that's what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
Rumpelstiltskin.
So imagine how grim the real one is.
Yeah.
mm.
And I
We
think
also, like,
Puss in
skimmed over
Boots.
a lot of things in these
I
things.
think like Puss in Boots is pretty grim. The real one was pretty grim as well.
Wait, that's a real
Yeah.
thing?
Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
What?
Puss in Boots. Yeah, it's an actual
Oh,
fairy
I-
tale pending.
It's a fairy
I thought they
Everything
just wanted to
you've
spin
seen in
off of
Shrek is an
Maple.
actual
No,
fairy
no,
It's
no,
actual
no.
fairy tale.
It's an actual
Actual
fairy. I mean,
fairy tale.
a lot of the characters in Shrek are actual fairy tales.
Yeah,
right?
they're all
Puss in
like,
Boots,
different
uh,
fairy tales. Yeah.
Well, I knew that they
Except
were
Shrek.
Oh my god,
they were based off of real fairy tales, but I didn't realize like Puss in Boots was like an actual
Who's like
fairy tale. I thought it was just like I thought they just kind of took like a marketable character, kind of ran with it.
Oh, No, it's an actual fairy
That's
tale.
interesting.
Puss in Boots.
Oh.
A talking cat that wear boots.
Antonio
pretty much.
Banderas. was
Antonio
not just thought out of
Banderas.
the- just thought of randomly.
It's like Antonio
As much
Banderas.
as I would-
What about if we have a character who is a cat who wear boots? I can voice that one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Cut roll. What the hell? You sound like him.
Yeah, you did.
now.
It was really good. It was
Yeah.
like, whoa. Nice. Noise, noise, noise.
I do too much impressions.
Noise.
That's good.
Noise.
More.
So yeah,
More,
so
what
we'll,
more?
I
we'll
can't get
do
enough of it more.
the-
Dude, I want to read this one. There's Cherry or the Frog Bride.
Oh what?
Oh wait, what? Oh, I've never
It-
heard that one.
There's one called Cherry or the Frog Bride.
I've never heard this
Or
one.
the
I've never heard
frog
that one either.
bride.
Yeah,
Whatever.
we
I'm gonna
can
read a bunch of different ones.
no, we can totally like cover that for the
Aces
next
go.
one.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, we should do more of these because this is fun.
Yep.
This is
Yeah.
I'm
It's fun,
glad I
definitely
thought of
fun.
this idea.
Yeah.
it's so
Mm.
good.
It is.
Now they'll be
If we
I want more games.
if we follow up on this next week, I'll be calling everyone gamers, Maple.
Oh, we could.
That's true.
We need to make this. We need to actually like develop the fucking cinematic universe for this and connect all this.
Exactly.
Develop
We're gonna
all
connect
of
all
the-
It's
the.
gonna be a weekly podcast then.
No, we're gonna collect all the fairy
I
tales.
don't mind.
Yes.
The lore.
I don't mind if it's a weekly thing, yeah.
I don't
We're
mind.
the scholars here. Okay.
I
This
certainly
is
could
right
be
now.
more-
No,
Maple,
right now we just finished phase 1. All right.
Phase one.
Yeah.
We're still filling out the details. We're currently
Phase
looking at the
2, we're getting
literature.
into those midichlorians.
Yeah, the-
we're gonna
we're gonna
put
yeah,
we're
make
gonna
a
put
power
Star
level
Wars-
tier list.
We,
Out of
we
all the
gotta
Star
we gotta
Wars as part of the
really
playthrough.
we gotta really expand the universe with phase 2.
Expand
Phase 1 was just to see like if there was a market for it,
Exactly.
and it did
I mean, that's
pretty
how-
well,
that's how
so
it was
then
with
we
the
gotta
Marvel
really push
Universe.
that envelope, Michael.
That's
Phase
how it
2,
was
we're
with
gonna
the
have one every single day.
MCU.
So that way we oversaturate the market.
Yeah.
And then
Oh, God.
phase 3, we're gonna cut back. You're never gonna see it for 3 years, and then all of a sudden we're gonna come back and announce in phase 4 that we're coming back.
Oh
And
my
then in
God,
phase
can't
10,
believe it.
20 years later, that's when we'll release like the re-rendition of the first one.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. Well,
See,
well,
in phase 5,
Phase
we'll be making
five.
this big event where all
gonna be
the
big.
characters meet. You
Oh
know?
my God!
Yes.
Yeah, they all meet for that
And-
one big ass collab. It's gonna be bigger than
Yeah,
Infinity War. I'll tell
exactly,
you that.
but a
No,
lot,
no,
a lot
no.
of the,
It's gonna
a
be
lot of
called
the
Inferi
characters,
War.
like their storylines
War.
seemingly end.
Very War.
A lot of the characters, their storylines seemingly end at the end of Phase 5, which leads to a bit of a drop off in attendance because a lot of people are like, "This is a good jumping off point. Maybe I don't really need to see Phase 6. Maybe I've had enough of the fairy tale universe." But then we'll catch them with the new and interesting characters.
Yeah, we catch.
We
them with
bring
the hook.
in. No, that's when we bring in mythologies.
That's what we're
Yeah.
bringing in
Zeus
mythology. Oh
comes
God.
down.
Yeah,
Just be going after
That's
everybody.
when we purchase the rights holder to the mythologies. So that we can
Exactly.
incorporate
Who's
those
rights to
into our
that?
universe.
Fucking Hades comes out of nowhere, fucking kidnaps
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty or some shit. Oh no, we need to go help her. Shit.
Hercules, Hercules.
Hercules, we need you.
Will Hercules be on our side though? Since we're the mythology team.
He's more
And then in phase 8, we'll bring in Tapestry Legends.
Tapestry Legends.
That's when that's no, that's how we can bring in
Kill-
Mulan. That's how we can bring in
If-
Mulan.
Can the 10-year anniversary? Can we bring like vine sauce?
This is bad. We're just bringing on characters. It doesn't fucking matter anymore.
He's actually like stopped his page. He stopped streaming years and years and years ago, but we're still gonna bring him back for the 10th
Oh,
anniversary.
Yeah, for the 10th anniversary, we're gonna bring in Vine Sauce.
Brought mine.
God, I haven't heard that name for so long.
That's a while. That's old.
I've never.
That's a name I Vine Sauce. That's a name I haven't heard of in a long time.
In a long time.
long time.
What
has
We
happened?
bring in fucking Azathoth himself, and turns out it was this whole elaborate
God.
plan.
To bring back Vine
phase, like
Sauce?
phase 10 or phase 20, all the VTubers will be like hollow projections.
Yeah.
3D
You guys-
holographic
no, you-
projections.
Yeah, they're all gonna see us from like a
See, the
table, you
difference
know?
is
We're gonna-
Momiji will forever stay youthful, and all of us have like grown up or grown older. And Momiji still youthful, and we're like, it's all those damn princesses.
Yeah. God damn it. Keeping her young. She leached off her their youth and
Wait, what?
she leached off the princess's youth and vitality.
Wait,
She stays young. When we
when
get
Yeah,
old,
we're doing-
this.
No, Elizabeth Bathory. We're taking
Oh,
this
yeah,
in
yeah,
Bathory sense.
The one where,
Oh,
where
I
you
see, I
actually
see.
bathe in their blood.
Blood.
bathed in their virgin
Good
blood.
Don't make
Oh
the
my
lore
God.
up. Stop making up lore for me.
But it already happened.
It happened. What do you mean make
Stop
up?
making lore up for me.
It's called
This
lore
is
for a
this
reason.
is the lore we've read. It's in the literature. It's right here on
I
page
really-
527.
I really should make the official Momiji lore book.
Don't.
Maple.
Do it.
Hey,
Oh,
Pending, you know that fan
ahead.
fiction you're supposed to write? Can it just be Momiji lore?
Oh, God.
It absolutely can be. It
Oh,
absolutely
hell
can be.
yeah.
But
Momiji lore, the deep lore.
but I should say that the rule that I had is if it does involve like a VTuber, then they have to give their consent. So that is where that is
I
where
see,
this
I
could
see.
fall apart.
Okay.
Momiji, you can
No.
have a voice in your lore. you can finally have a voice.
Nah, just
an
do
almost
it anyways.
No, it's an
Call it
almost
official.
instant no.
Do it. Do it.
Don't worry, we give consent for her. It'll be
I
fine.
will give consent when Sir admits that he's the perfect bride.
No.
Sir,
Wait.
Sir,
We're the
Sir.
Wait,
Sir.
why do we have to burn together?
Sir, you
Why
better
do we
Sir,
accept
you
burn
fast.
got to now.
Sir, you gotta accept
uses
fast.
the
Part
hashtag
of the lore.
Sir perfect bride.
Sir, you gotta accept fast.
Turns out
Let's do
Sir
it.
is actually one of the Disney princesses, and Momiji is just getting him ready, stuffing him up until
And
he's
Sir-
nice and
I mean,
thick.
we have
Sir,
a picture of
Momiji.
Abshan now.
No, seriously,
No,
Zerb,
no, 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 no.
Zerb, seriously, you gotta accept fast because
I
I'm getting
haven't
shorter for every collab. Every collab, I'm getting shorter.
He loses a couple.
If you don't accept, I'm not gonna stop shrinking.
come back,
He's gonna
come
turn
back
into like
next.
1 centimeter by the end of this.
When I
Okay,
Come
let's-
back
let's
next
do this while
week,
it's
I
on
will
stream stuff.
decide that
It's
Ace is
so
not
small
too
now. What happened?
I was this when Bending did that artwork discussion thing, I was like slightly taller than him. How am I 3'4" now?
He's gonna turn into like an inch and then like a centimeter by the
Sir,
end
you
of
gotta
the
accept. If you accept it, Bending will stop shrinking me.
Yeah, Ace is gonna be the new Ant-Man.
No,
one
no,
day.
no. I'm only gonna accept under one condition. If Asu keeps shrinking, Pending. Is that fine?
I'm
I
willing to
call this
accept
a
your
win.
terms.
I call this
We're
a
gonna-
win.
What the fuck is happening?
We
The
agreed
deep
to
lore.
these terms.
You know,
We're
you know, if
constructing
that,
the deep lore.
you know, if that's the case, I will accept that. I'll keep shrinking.
Wait, that's supposed to accept. Asu, shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah, there you go, Lizerb. You're a bride.
There you go.
and we're getting close to
Alright.
Everybody, we got a story.
Yeah,
Making
Making our
alright,
own
so
fairy tale.
so we have agreed today
What did
that
he-
Asu will keep
It has been
shrinking.
agreed upon.
Zerb has agreed that he is the perfect bride, Maple.
Yep.
And
Because
and,
that
and
Momiji has agreed as
thanks
well.
to that,
Chain
Momiji
reaction.
has consented for me to write her official lore.
Darn it!
Oh, there you go.
Darn it!
Asu, cycle though. Asu, you could have got everybody in here.
No, sorry.
Yeah, you should have dragged everybody into this.
should.
But he's
You should
just
have
No, no.
It wasn't Shadow Ace.
No, Zerb Perfect Bright was like the perfect, the best drag I can
Is
do.
that your only goal?
Yeah,
Is his only goal?
absolutely. Omaera.
Omaera. Omaera.
Kisama.
Kiss. Yeah.
Kisama.
Kisama.
Alright,
No,
guys.
Momiji learned I'm a traitor, Alex. We played Project Winter the first time, and I was a traitor.
Oh,
Ace.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
not a
Yep.
traitor.
You absolutely are. a
You are
traitor.
the biggest traitor of us all. I was like,
and Ace, I shouldn't have dragged them into this. I should have dragged you
No.
or something.
the thing is, Zer,
I'm gonna
the thing
tell
is, Zer,
you,
being a
Momiji
traitor
Tia's
once.
instincts are spot on. If you play another
You're
game like
sticking
that,
it
drag Tia with you.
No,
She will-
Zer,
He was also a traitor though.
Zer, I gotta say that
He was traitor one
you
point.
being the traitor at one time is like makes everything so you making it so much worse that everybody sees me as like, okay, he was a traitor, but it's fine now.
I'm not a scapegoat. I can't wait for the day that I play with Asa and we're both
I've
traitors.
been asked
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
want a
Everybody will
harem
die.
of princesses.
Shit.
I would prefer
Oh
a
man.
harem of princess than a harem of princesses. But
Oh my
I'll
god,
take
let's
the
just wait for the clip.
princesses.
Get your
according
Prince
according
Charmings.
to Pending, I do not have a harem. I eat them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you eat 'em.
Yes,
Pending,
that is correct,
You just eat
Maple.
'em.
according to the lore, she doesn't collect them. She literally eats them.
Eats them.
Yes.
Well, she
Eh?
likes to do it in like an intricate manner. She like sautés them. She like
Shot.
Nom
Sautés. Wait,
nom
what?
nom.
No, she's the Hannibal of the VTuber.
yeah, she's like a Hannibal.
Guys,
She
you just have
cooks
to
them
read
good.
Pending's
Where's the
story when it comes out.
Yeah, let's see what Pending contrives.
Exactly. We'll you'll,
There's
all
more
your
than one way
questions
to
will
eat a
be
woman.
answered. All your questions
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
answered in the official Momiji lore handbook.
Lord.
Okay, all right. We're waiting for it. I'm waiting for it.
Okay, guys.
Oh,
Okay,
but
let's
Pending,
end this here. Let's end this.
but
here.
Pending. Oh no, no. One more
You
thing
can
pending.
count on me, Maple.
One more.
No, one more thing pending. If you make this into like the official Momiji handbook lore, you actually
Mhm,
still have to do a fan fiction though,
Oh, do I?
Oh yeah.
because this isn't a fan fiction.
Yui's like, yes.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
this
true.
isn't a
What
fan
did you
fiction.
guys
This
want
is
me to do
canon.
for the fan
This is
fiction?
canon. What do you mean? This ain't fan fiction. This is canon. This is it.
Oh, I need some, like, you guys gotta let me know what to do for the fan fiction.
I have some ideas for you. I'll toss them your way later.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right,
It's a bit
all right,
scary,
guys.
Gary.
All right,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you for the
Alright.
follow. I think we're gonna end this here. You guys are
It's a nice,
loads of
it's
fun.
a nice
It's a
2 hour
nice-
thing. It's
It was a
Alright.
good
Yeah.
place to end. I think.
Yep.
We're gonna do
yeah,
this more
thank you for having me.
because I think this is
Having
fun.
us.
yep. It's really
It's
fun. I
totally
really
fun.
enjoy this.
More.
You're too big.
Yeah, we definitely have to do this
More.
more
All right, chat. Tune
Weekly
in next
podcast with
time.
Momiji and
for
friends.
phase 2.
Tune in next time for phase 2, where
Phase
we
2.
create a tier list of the Disney princesses in power level.
Okay.
So do we want to do you guys have anything to
Chupa?
announce before
You know,
we...
I can just
Oh.
imagine like the witch going like,
March,
you think
March
you're the
5th,
only
Cherry
princess in this universe?
Charlie Tree, March 5th.
Charlie Tree. We have
Alright,
big
I'll always
announcements
see
on March 5th.
Oh yeah,
So-
Charlie Tree has a
We have a big announcement on the 5th. So go watch Charlie Thursday.
Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday night.
Oh, network error on my side.
Oh, yeah, the stream might be down.
Oh.
Maple.
Wait,
Do I have-
stream now?
Connecting now. It says.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're gonna end it anyway. So
That was a
Yeah.
network error.
so let's
Rip.
end it there.
Rip.
Rip. Rap.
Okay.
I got my
Rip.
stuff in. Yes.
Rip.
GG.
Rip.
Rip.
F.
All right, let's raid.
Okay, are we back? Are we back? Oh,
Who are we raiding? Who are we
Alright,
raiding?
we're back.
Are we
okay,
back?
I see
There's
Kochou
this person
Momiji
called
online.
Momiji
Yeah,
online.
exactly.
Kochou
Kochou Momiji.
Momiji.
There's Jeffy Bed.
There's,
There's the
Niwa
Niwa
Tori.
Tori family is
Yeah.
playing.
Yeah,
Um,
they're playing Uno actually. They're playing Uno.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's
There's also
Momo.
there's also
And
VTuber
there's
line.
Melanie.
There's also VTuber line.
Yep, line. There's Uxie.
Who
That's
do
a
I-
there's lots of
bunch of
people online.
there's so much new VTubers now.
It's just they're
No, I've
coming out.
never
It's gonna,
raided
it's gonna be
Niwatori,
oversaturated.
so let's
Yeah, let's do that.
raid Niwatori.
Let's do that.
Niwatori.
Niwatori TV.
Okay,
Oh, that
okay.
too, yeah.
Story TV.
Niwatori TV.
Oh.
Okay, hey, we're still we're back. We're back.
Oh, we're back. We're
Are
back.
we-
back
Okay.
just to
Are we
send you
back
away.
somehow?
For last
we're
Chupa.
back.
Yeah, we're
Last
back just to
Chupa,
send
and
him
then
away.
We're gonna raid.
Hurrah,
Niwatori.
hurrah.
All right,
One
are you
last
guys
hurrah.
ready? Sit. 1,
Bye.
2, 3.
Choo.
Choo.
Maple.
Thank you guys. Remember to check out
Maple.
Charlie
Actually breaking
on
Discord.
Thursday.
Don't make me yell
I know
into
we're
my
breaking
mic.
Discord. Okay, remember to check out Charlie
On the top of my
Thursday.
lungs.
See you guys.
Yeah, check
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for coming.
Maple.
Chupa chupa chupa.
Chupa chupa chupa.
Okay, we're done.